created everything. Look what a powerful being you are. You did these things, but now you're in a human body, you forget the power you have.
What you do is what the whole universe is doing at the place you call here and now. You are something the whole universe is doing in the same way that a wave is something that the whole ocean is doing.
You're doing it.
Doing what?
Using your imagination.
Welcome to Metamystics, where you don't know what you don't know. My name's Jonathan.
I'm Sean.
And today we are getting into tarot symbolism. This is going to be the first of a series of firsts, I guess, where we're going to be getting into the deeper symbolism of the tarot. And there is no better, according to all of the old gangster tarot readers, like the old schools. They all reference one book. And in many books, there's a bunch of really good tarot books out there. Sure. But if you want to get to the actual, like, the main source that most, like, tarot readers, like the older ones, they always talk about this book that was written by Rachel Pollack, and it's called 78 Degrees of Wisdom, a tarot journey to self-awareness. So it was actually written back in 1980 by Rachel, and oh my God, dude. It is so filled with symbolism, and it'll give you a deeper understanding about the card, from the colors to the whatever the symbols are in there. The things that almost go unnoticed are all in this book. And so if you're somebody that is interested in learning how to read tarot cards, and it's such a good tool to have. Like, it is an amazing tool to have in your back pocket. No, you're not calling upon demons. You're not calling upon anything dark or anything like that. You're literally playing its cards. And the same thing goes for, like, we did a whole episode on cartomancy. You can do it just with a regular bicycle deck. You know what I mean? Like, and so if you think that a bicycle deck, poker cards or whatever are demonic, then I guess there's no saving that. But
what can we do, But I'm glad we're doing this because, after the tarot reading that we had recently, I didn't even realize that. And sure, I've seen people do like full spreads and this and that, but it just seems that there's so many different ways to really interpret these things. And because there are so many symbols, and you can implement whether it's the landscape or, just a specific color that you see, or whether or not the card is right side up or upside down, or even sideways, which was something I didn't know was something that people did, and so just seeing the depth and the layers that you can really get out of a tarot reading, it's like, I think it's time that we do a little bit of harder studying and take this serious, and really try to understand the tarot as much as we can.
Oh, for sure. And we're going to learn even deeper, kind of historical definitions of, like, what, for instance, innocence is. Innocence doesn't necessarily mean like a virgin of pure light. It's more of, it could also be seen as just freedom. When you think about it, it's like you think about the fool standing 1 foot, 1 foot like on the edge of a cliff, right?
Yeah.
And it's not that the fool is innocent. It's just that he has so much freedom that he almost doesn't even care. He's so
free of
whimsical.
worry.
Yeah, and it's free of worry, and that's where the idea of innocence may play into. So it's really awesome, dude, and that's what we're going to get into. And we have a couple of videos that I actually wanted to share too. You know what? Let's just get into those. These are a couple of videos whenever I was doing a little bit of research for this show. See, I bought this book a few weeks ago, and it's, dude, so fascinating. I was like, oh my God, we should be like talking about this on the show a little bit, just with how deep it is. But there's a couple of really great quotes by Rachel Pollack, who was like super deep into mysticism and the occult, and I think I could be wrong, but I think that she was like kind of into the Hermetic Order, the Golden Dawn, which is really cool. Right. Like, looked into a lot of Aleister Crowley type stuff, and very, very, very fascinating. So this is actually a from the podcast called Haunted Objects. So shout out to them. And there was somebody that was bringing up one of the quotes that Rachel said in the book, and it's like, oh my God, if we could just look at life this way, it'll make everything so much more magical. So it's only a minute long, but I thought, man, perfect for this episode.
All right, let's do it.
This is how Rachel says tarot works. We need to produce synchronicity.
Everybody take a drink.
Everybody take a shot.
Okay.
Any device which produces a random pattern serves function. Dice, mixed cards, spinning wheels, all cut through the conscious mind's control of the outcome. The underworld, the land of the gods. Today, we speak of the unconscious. It works precisely because it makes no sense. The information exists. Our unconscious selves already know it. What we need is a device to act as a bridge to our conscious perception. That is the coolest idea of how tarot and divination in general works as a synchronicity generator.
Yeah. Everything is right there.
You know what that makes me think of? You doing the Estes method.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Okay, so I thought, wow, that makes so much sense. A synchronicity generator. And it just checks out.
Yeah. I mean, because what you're experiencing and what you're feeling and what you're going through that day, it's already in your mind. You're already aware of it, you know? And so then having something like whether it's a license plate or dice, like they were saying, or the tarot cards, it's just kind of putting that in front of you. And now and unless I misunderstood that, this is how I kind of interpreted that. It kind of just lays it out in front of you. And now it's like you're already kind of putting that information that you've experienced along with the tarot card, and so you're able to examine it and really try to figure out what's going on with that. You know what I mean?
You're adding synchronicity to your life's algorithm is what you're doing, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Which makes it that much more fantastical. It's like, look, you could walk around here and say, you know what, we're kind of born here out of happenstance, and nobody knows where we were before we were born. We probably didn't exist, and we're probably not going anywhere once we die because everything's science, and there's no proof that consciousness exists outside of the body or could exist outside of the body and stuff. You could live life like that. There we go. But what is the point of living that way? And I get it, like the people that are out for absolute truth. But here's the crazy thing. Whenever you kind of step on the edge of that cliff like the fool, you're not so much worried. You're almost like leaving room for opportunity for something to surprise you.
The unknown, dude. I think the unknown is always going to be, it definitely could be a scary place. I agree with that, but it's like the unknown allows room for more. It allows room for play, for the imagination, for whatever you want. There's a lot of power in that, I think.
Oh, dude. And like some of the symbolism that she brings up here, and she goes, Rachel, I'm talking about, brings up a piece of symbolism. She goes, every time somebody looks at the color black, it's like black always means death, or black always means negative, or, just the color black, right? And she goes, I think that it's actually the opposite. You're literally stepping into the unconscious void where nothing has been created yet. Is what it is.
That's cool. The land of potential.
The land of potential. Yeah. It's like nothing's been built yet. It's up to you,
Right.
And
to give things form and to give things purpose and meaning.
And that's why there's no such thing as a bad tarot card, whether it's right side up or reversed or sideways or fucking whatever, right? Like there is no such thing as a bad tarot card. There are only deeper lessons. You could say that, but there's no such thing as like looking at the death card and being like, oh man, what does this mean? Or the tower card or the devil card. Like all of these things are meant to tell you they're divining
what you already know. That at least is what they were saying. It's like if something comes up and maybe for whatever reason there's a negative aspect of it, you can still transmute that into something positive for sure. But if you know that there's something negative within your subconscious mind, and maybe it's something you've already been kind of worried about, and then you have a card that kind of sheds light on something that's I mean, pretty much mirroring the exact thing that's in your mind, then that's the synchronicity generator right there. It's really just shedding light on that thing that you're thinking about, and you can go ahead and allow that to be a negative thing, and maybe in your mind you're thinking this is something that's definitely going to happen. It's predestined. I'm doomed or whatever. Or you can say and understand that, and like our guest said the other night, that, it doesn't mean that it's like locked in already.
Right.
It's just a potential,
Right.
maybe something to look out for, or to completely shift your awareness away from that negative mindset and shift it towards the thing you actually want to see. And now you're just kind of recreating what's going to happen.
Well, you know what's beautiful about the tarot too is that you get 10 tarot card readers in a room. They're going to give you 10 different readings, right?
Right.
So coming at it from a I don't know, an intellectual standpoint, you could say, oh, well, these cards are just so happen to plop out, and now I'm trying to apply them to my life. The real magic is not necessarily about who's giving you the reading. It's about where you are when you heard the message of that reading. Were you right there in that moment, in that time where things are going crazy or things are going normal or whatever, and you heard that message from that individual in that moment? That's the magic,
Exactly.
And that's
this
why
is something that. Oh, go ahead, dude. My bad.
Oh no, I was gonna say, and I wanted to bring up the tarot book that we always refer to whenever we pull a tarot card, which is called Guided Tarot by Stephanie Capone. Still love that book, amazing book. But she says, look, it doesn't matter like who you're getting readings from, and even for the beginner tarot reader, she goes, dude, don't even worry about like if you got it historically correct or if you got it definitionally correct or anything like that. Whatever message that's going to come through your understanding, whether it be, biblical understanding or just a layman's understanding, that is the message that you're supposed to get in that moment. And
absolutely,
that's really the power.
And just like, automatic writing. And I mentioned this before, as far as how sometimes, throughout the day, you're having 60,000 thoughts a day, or at least this is what we've come to find out. And so imagine how blurry that experience really is. You're going from moment to moment, and maybe you have some sort of epiphany thought, or maybe you had a thought and then that thought goes away because a new one just came in, and before you know it, you don't even know what you really been thinking about all day. And so if you have a tarot reading and you're looking at a card with all of these very clear symbols and very obvious colors, now you can say, okay, now what does this do for me? And just sit there with that and sit with that thought and really examine that, and just make something a little more clear within your own mind, within your universe.
Dude, I'm so happy you brought that up because it's a perfect segue into this video we're about to watch now.
Let's do it.
So big shout out to Higher Heart Company. And the way that she explains this, it's only 37 seconds long, but I think that every little nugget of truth that you could potentially apply to the tarot is only going to broaden your understanding of the pull whenever you get one.
Ready.
So shout out to her. Let's listen in.
The Secret Order of the Golden Dawn would initiate its members into tarot with a very specific meditation. They would have their members visualize the card they were being initiated into as a door and then walk through the door. By doing this, their members were able to download and receive secret information about the cards that went far beyond the preconceived notion of each card. Because the secret meanings of the tarot cannot be conceived by the conscious mind, we have to go into the unconscious mind, go through the door into the collective unconscious where all symbolic information exists.
Let's go.
I love this, dude. I actually was thinking about something about this. It's kind of similar to what she was saying as far as how powerful the mind is, and I feel like, because just the other night I was having this experience where it felt like I was shifting through different layers of frequency or something, and I was hearing like almost like conversation, but it didn't seem like, at least in my mind, it didn't seem like I was getting a message from the beyond or from the other side or from some entity. It almost felt like I was almost observing or witnessing, audibly, something that was happening right then. but just somewhere else. You know, like somebody was talking to someone else, like they were in a hurry or something. Oh yeah, I gotta grab this thing so that I can go. And then it would like fade, and then all of a sudden I was hearing something else, and it just felt like I was like almost like a dial on a radio, dude. And it just seemed like I was. And so, but then I was thinking like, okay, let's say that I'm not actually picking up on something that's actually happening somewhere else that I'm unaware of. What if it is my okay, follow me, dude. What if it's just my brain, right? Because my brain is very, and all of our brains, not mine specifically, but we take in so much information all day long, so much information that we're not even aware of. And our brain is constantly, because it's what it does, it's constantly trying to create patterns or create models for certain things that might happen and events that might happen. And so what if it's just my brain creating scenarios and working them through, and I'm kind of just tapping into that rather than just what my conscious mind is normally used to tapping into.
Very
You know
well
what I mean?
could
Because
be.
our brain is just this machine that's just built so perfectly to figure shit out. We're a thinking being, you know?
That's what we're
That's what we
here to
do.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it very well could be. And some people would say that it's their guides or it's their ancestors or it's their higher self. I think that it's really up to you to determine what it is
Exactly.
you're hearing. Because I'm not
Yes.
going to lie, there's some times where like I'm sitting on the couch after I smoked some of the old divine lettuce and and I swear that there is, I mean, there's no, I don't want to, kind of fault my imagination by any means, because I feel like my imagination is pretty out there, but like
Part of it.
but it's like some of the things that you just get like downloaded. You're like, how did I never think of this before? How did I never put these things together to come up with this beautiful like synchronicity sandwich? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. And so maybe we are tapping into something else. Maybe we're just tapping into higher parts of our own selves.
Well, yeah, I think it's partly that. I think it's, you, like I said before, you've had all of these experiences and that information that we call a download. And I'm not saying we're not getting some sort of download, but as far as like, because our brain is constantly trying to figure things out, and you just, for the first time, for this specific bit of information that you got, you got yourself right in that zone, whatever frequency, whatever, even temperature in the room, the way you were laying, just something all lined up and just synchronized perfectly so that you got that information that's just kind of been there. You know what I'm saying?
Some people would just call that the flow state.
Yeah, dude, exactly. It's a gnosis. It's just a matter of putting yourself in the right position to finally align with it. You know?
I mean, yeah, because if you think about it, if it to go back to Hermeticism, where all is mental is the first principle, and if all is mental and there is only one actual like source consciousness, and every person is kind of like a frayed strand that is coming off of the main source, then you would have to imagine when you get into a flow state or a higher state of mind or something like that, maybe that's all that is just imagine like a I don't know, the end of like a tentacle. Shout out to Marv. But like,
Marv.
imagine you're like where you are naturally is at the very tip of that tentacle, right? And then whenever you get into that flow state, you go up like 3 or 4 suction cups. You know what I mean? It's something, and until you're like the fucking head. You know what I'm saying? And then you're just seeing throughout that big old super like third eye. And I think that actually makes the most amount of sense to me, to use an octopus.
I love that. I love
but-
that. Like you make it all the way up the suction cups to the third eye of the octopus, and now you are the purest form of all of the information gathered, and without the ego, and just like the most objective part of reality that you can get to, but
dude.
still using your mind to observe that, which is still subjective, but still, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's up to the individual, and that's why I truly believe that there is a way for us to achieve inner gnosis. Like, all this outside information that we talk about, yeah, it's helping us along the way. There's no doubt about it.
Of course.
But you have to, but these things are only used as symbols in order for our minds to be able to like formulate a coherent, almost like Gnostic thought, I think. And so it's giving it an outlet to breathe and understand and to look at through this perspective kind of thing. But I think that deep in us is that divine gnosis, whatever that is, wherever it comes from, maybe it comes from the source. I think that everybody has that capability. It's not just like for the elect. It's not just for the initiated. It's not just for the super smart people. It's not just for anybody. It's just for you. It's just for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what makes tarot so amazing because, oh, and another thing I wanted to say. So Rachel in this book, she said something that I thought was pretty profound. She said, that she hates whenever people talk about the subconscious as if the subconscious is the enlightened one. Because she goes, all the subconscious is just the bits of information that your conscious mind didn't pick up on, right?
Right.
She goes, what you actually should be calling it, what you should be referring to whenever you go inward is the unconscious mind. The one that is just pure awareness, that it's not, there's no ego involved. That's what she was saying, that the subconscious still has a little bit of ego, but you go into the unconscious mind, there's no room for an ego. It is the void where everything and anything can happen.
Right.
So I don't know if that's true or not.
That.
I just thought that it was an interesting
it's
sentiment.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So,
Just more bits of information to throw onto the pile, dude. You know what I mean? That's all this is. We're just generating our own synchronicities at this point.
Exactly right. Yeah. So, you know what? Today we're going to be reading, and this is what we're going to do every so often. We're going to dive back into this book because it is, in my opinion, the GOAT of all tarot books. And in many others' opinion, the GOAT of all tarot books.
Yeah, man.
So today we're going to be reading about the first 3 cards in the tarot deck in the major arcana. So that means the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess. We're going to be reading about today.
All right.
And it's going to give us a much broader, deeper understanding of what we're looking at whenever we look at these cards.
I'm excited. I know for a fact I'm going to hear something tonight, or the one is going to hear something tonight that's just going to really open something up. You know, that have that moment where, and then you start just looking at things that way going forward.
And it's
so fun.
I'm telling you, it starts with the Fool because there's not a boring paragraph in this book.
All right, man.
Like,
I love it.
It is crazy. So we start with the Fool. Sean, did you pull those cards out of your deck?
Oh, I got the Fool and the Magician. What was it? The High Priestess?
Yes.
Was the other one? Okay. Let me get that one, but go ahead and start reading.
All right. And just flash it up. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows what the Full card looks like, but just for reference.
Oh, yeah. It's one of my favorites, dude. Everything starts here, man.
Yes.
You know, think about it. Anytime you go to do something that might seem like something that people don't usually do, you know, like whether it's starting your own business or just whatever it is, most people around you are probably going to look at you and go like, are you sure? I don't think you're going to be able to do that. That seems foolish to quit your job and do this thing you love doing. You know what I mean?
And the beauty about the Fool is that you're going into it almost as a kid. It's so open-minded that like you don't know what you should expect and you don't know what you shouldn't expect. You know what I mean? Like it is totally open-minded, free-willed, absolute freedom. What you would do if like whenever I see the Fool, it just reminds me of like Macaulay Culkin on Home Alone. Yeah. It's like he could do whatever he wanted. He could set whatever kind of trap. He can go to the store. You know, he's using his dad's credit card. He can buy whatever he wants. You know what I mean? And that's I believe that's my way of looking at the Fool. And that's what they say you should do is whenever you see a card, relate it to something that you know would be a perfect comparison. And it's up to the individual, you know?
Yeah. You create your own symbol and your own experience with what that card really is. Makes sense.
So whenever I see the Fool, I see Kevin. So, all right, let's get going.
I'm not afraid anymore.
Yeah. So the Fool. We have already looked at the Fool in one aspect, the image of a spirit totally free, but we can look at the Fool from another side. Had a little puberty break there for a second. From another side, the leap into the archetypal world of the trump cards. Imagine yourself entering a strange landscape, a world of magicians, of people hanging upside down, and of dancers in the bright air. You can enter through a leap from a height, through a dark cave, a labyrinth, or even by climbing down a rabbit hole, chasing a Victorian rabbit with a pocket watch. Alice is kind of the fool in that sense. Whichever way you choose, you are a fool to do it. Why look into the deep world of the mind when you can stay safely in the ordinary landscape of a job, a home, and some family? Herman Melville in Moby Dick warned his readers warned his readers not to even take a step outside the ordinary path laid out for you by society. You might not get back again. So if you start going down that path that everybody travels, good luck getting out, because there's security in there, you know?
Yeah, you're going to create those levels of comfort that are really hard to walk away from.
Yes. You know? And yet, for those willing to take the chance, the leap can bring joy, adventure, and finally, for those with courage to keep going when the wonderland becomes more fearsome than joyous, the leap can bring knowledge, peace, and liberation. Interestingly, the fool archetype appears more in mythology than in structured religion. An institutionalized church can hardly urge people beyond the limits of institutions. Instead, the churches offer us a safe haven from the fears of life. Mythology leads directly into the heart of those fears, and in every culture, the mythological landscape contains the image of the trickster, pushing, goading, jabbing the kings and heroes whenever they turn away from the inner world of the truth. In the King Arthur legends, Merlin appears not only as a sorcerer and a wise man, but as a trickster. Constantly, he appears before Arthur in disguise, as a child, a beggar, an old peasant. The young king, already seduced into pompousness by his high social position, never recognizes Merlin until his companions point out that he had been tricked again. More important than laws or military strategy is the ability to see through illusions. The Taoist masters were famous for playing tricks on their disciples. I didn't know that. That's interesting. So, the fool archetype has even found social expression as the real court jester. We all know the image from King Lear of the fool permitted to tell the king truths that no one else would dare to express. Today, our comedians and satirists enjoy something of the same privilege. In many countries, a yearly carnival releases all the wildness repressed through the rest of the year. Sex is freer. Various laws are suspended. People go in disguises, and the king of fools is chosen to preside over the festival. Today in Europe and North America, April the 1st remains April Fool's Day, a time for tricks and practical jokes. The picture beside that of the rider pack shows the fool as conceived by Oswald Wirth. Here, I'll show. You know what? Let me show. This is the Oswald Wirth version, which is this one right here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, very old school, looks a lot like a Joker, right?
Yeah.
So that's what she's referring to. Now let's get back to it. An older tradition than that of Rider-Waite, it pictures the archetype as a grotesque wanderer. This image has been interpreted variously as the soul before enlightenment, a newborn child entering the world of experience and the principle of anarchy. Elizabeth Hake has provided an interesting interpretation of Wirth's grotesque image of the fool, placing him between judgment and the world. She describes the fool as what the outside world sees when it looks upon someone who is truly enlightened. Wow.
Okay.
Because everybody's going to always throw shade to that person.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, absolutely.
And dude, I'll tell you this. I can't tell you how many times I've gone into like, I don't know, maybe you go into a store or wherever and and I'll see somebody that I almost wonder if they're from India. And so I'll ask them like, hey, where are you from? And, you know, a lot of times they'll say India, right? And there was this one time, and I always ask them the same question. And every single time I'm like, what are your real thoughts on Sadhguru? Like, what do you think about him? And It's never good. It's
Really?
literally never good. They're like, oh, he's a scam artist and he's this and he's that. I don't know how he got famous. He ain't even that smart, kind of
Isn't
thing.
that what they say though? Like people in your own town will never look at you like you're somebody.
Even Jesus
You know, it's
had
always
to leave.
people outside, right?
Yep, even Jesus had to leave. You know,
Wow.
same thing.
Interesting.
So yeah, what she's saying there is absolutely right. So it says, because the fool does not follow their rules or share their weaknesses, he appears to them in this ugly, distorted way. Hake describes the fool's face as a mask put there not by himself, but by the outside world. The last card, the world, presents the same enlightened person, but viewed from inside, that is, by himself. So that's how you're supposed to, I believe that's how you're supposed to look at all these cards. It's the fool's journey. But the interesting thing is that the fool becomes each one of those characters. You know what I'm saying? So like you see the fool with the wand or whatever over his shoulder and the little knapsack, like he's going on a hike or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And whenever you go and read the magician card, it'll say, oh wow, these were the things that were inside of the fool's sack.
Oh, right. That's right. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So
That's
it's
cool.
like the fool is
So he's
becoming.
just becoming and evolving.
Right. And
That's
it
cool.
doesn't like, and this is where you have to kind of keep an open mind about it, because like, oh, what, he's going from, a high priest to a high priestess. Like, what is he changing sexes? It's like, no,
It's
these are
understanding
inner,
the different energies and feminine and masculine, right?
these are
I would
all
think.
inner archetypes.
Right.
That's just
Okay,
it.
that we all have.
That we all have, yes.
Right,
And
right.
and that's the whole idea around like divine masculinity and divine femininity and stuff like that. It's because like we all have those aspects. And and actually the truly balanced person is 50-50 on both of them.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So and that's why you see like the Baphomet, it's like a dude but it has jugs. Like that's
Right.
the idea. Like the idea is that the Baphomet is supposed to be an absolute balance. There's two
Right.
fingers up, there's two fingers down, right?
Right.
And
right.
that's the as above, so below. He's trying to be that conduit from heaven and earth. And so
Right.
trying to bring himself to a level of balance. Some people are like, that's a demon. Maybe he's a demon.
course.
I don't think.
Yeah, maybe it's a
whatever.
demon.
I
Yeah.
mean, but and that's the beautiful thing about, like symbology, is that you can look at it so many different ways.
No, I mean it's supposed to. That's what symbolism is for. That's why symbolism it's so layered in language and understanding, and that's why we even use symbols. You go to a store and you see a symbol of Subway or you know what I mean, stuff like that. The McDonald's logo, like you've said so many times, it's like what that is, and it might not be the same thing for me as it is for you. Whether you think of the French fries and I think of the double cheeseburger when I see that. And that is such a perfect analogy, I think, for the tarot cards. It's like my tarot reading, maybe I get the Fool. And I think of something and I have this understanding. I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense for where I am right now. You get the Fool and it makes sense for you and it makes sense for where you are right now. And it's two different things that we're thinking about in our mind.
And dude, we do that all the time with everything. And I don't know if people even notice it. So here's a good example of that too. So I know a lot of people that will go to church. And a lot of these people have read the Bible from front to back, right? And they got a decent understanding of it. But they go to church that day and hear that message. They are now receiving it almost as if it's for the first time, because they're looking at it through the perspective of who they are today.
Who they are today, what they're going through right now. They are their own synchronicity generator.
That's what I'm
we
saying.
all are.
It is a divine message, a divining message, one might say.
Perfect. I love it.
It's almost like whenever you go to church, that's the tarot card you pulled for today, was that sermon.
And it didn't even, it's crazy because it didn't even take a demon for that to work.
I know. Yeah.
You did
magic.
that yourself.
It's
you know
magic.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, not the church one. Of course, not that one. Even though, I think that's usually where demons come from, is like that whole, anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
I don't want to detract.
As much holy water. Come on. Ain't no demons getting in there,
No, dude.
Fuck out of here with that. So anyhow, continuing, in some early tarot decks, the Fool appeared as a giant court jester towering over the people around him. His title was the Fool of God. Initially, how about that?
Okay. The Fool
term
of God.
Yeah, very
All right.
interesting. And to be honest, wouldn't you say, like, talking about what we've talked about, that almost the uninitiated would be the fools of God? Because you're still an emanation of God, but you just haven't gotten to that place yet.
Right.
So you're just like the fool. You're excited, you're curious, you're dabbling here, you're dabbling there. You don't know a whole lot yet, but you're open, you know?
Right.
I think it's pretty
That's
awesome.
perfect.
So it says the term has also been used for idiots, harmless madmen, and severe epileptics. There we go. All of whom who were thought to be in touch with a greater wisdom, precisely because they were out of touch with the rest of us. Oh, that's fascinating. So the archetype persists in modern popular mythology as well. By their fantastic primitive nature, comic books often reflect mythological themes better than novels. In Batman, the hero's strongest enemy is called the Joker, a figure who has no past and is never seen without the wild makeup of a Joker in the deck of cards. The Joker is not descended from the Fool as one, as other tarotists have assumed. It was invented by a New York poker club as a wild card to make the game more interesting. It does, however, call forth the same archetype as the Fool, being based on the court jester. The rivalry of Batman and the Joker sends a clear message to their readers. Do not rebel against social values. Support law and order. In recent years, the magazine has described the Joker as insane rather than criminal. To society, the way of the Fool, instincts rather than rules, is a dangerous insanity.
You're crazy for starting your own thing and trying to go do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Most people don't do that. That's crazy.
You got a fucking dart in your neck.
You got a fucking dart in your neck.
I like
love
you,
you,
but you're crazy. So far, we have looked at the Fool as the other, prodding us from complacency with his jokes and disguises. As the self, rather, he represents that long tradition of the foolish brother or sister, despised by the older brothers and sisters, yet finally able to win the princess or the prince through instinctive wit and kindness. Curiously, the image of the Fool as self occurs more in fairy tales than myths. We look at myths as representing forces larger than ourselves. The simpler fairy tale allows us to express our own foolishness. Like Boots or Gluck in the fairy tale, always accompanied by various animal helpers, the Fool in almost every deck walks with a companion. In Wait, or in the Rider Waite, the figure is a leaping dog. In others, it's a cat or even a crocodile. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay. All right.
The animal symbolizes the forces of nature and the animal self of man, all in harmony with the spirit who acts from instinct. Mythological dogs are often terrifying. For example, the Hound of Hell chasing lost souls. But is it really the same beast? But it is really the same beast, rather. Only our attitude changes. Deny your inner self and it becomes ferocious. Obey it and it becomes benign. Rider Waite's Fool holds a white rose rather. Roses symbolize passion, while white, the traditional color of purity, together with the delicate way the flower is held, indicate the passions raised to a higher level. The Greeks saw Eros, the god of love, as a trickster, making the most proper people act ridiculous. But those who already express their folly will not be thrown by love. The Greeks also spoke of Eros in other forms as the animating force of the universe.
Oh,
love it.
The universe embodied.
The bag behind him carries his experiences. He does not abandon them. He is not mindless. They simply do not control him in the way that our memories and traumas so often control our lives. The bag bears the head of an eagle, a symbol of the soaring spirit. His high instinct fills and transforms all experience. The eagle is also the symbol of Scorpio raised to a higher level, that is, sexually raised to spirit.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I knew that the scorpion transformed into the eagle, but I didn't know that it was sexually. Well, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be about sex. It's more probably just about raising your sexual energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't know any of that.
So this idea of the connection between sex and spirit will come up again with the card of the devil. Ooh, watch out. So over his shoulder, the fool carries a stick, like a tramp, but this stick is actually a wand, a symbol of power. The magician and the chariot driver also carry wands, but self-consciously with a powerful grip. The fool and the world dancer hold their wands so casually we hardly notice them. What could be more foolish than to take a magic wand and use it to carry your bags?
Right. Like not even knowing that the power is there. You know, that's interesting.
It's foolish.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It says, we
That's
can
cool.
imagine a fairy tale in which the foolish younger brother finds a stick by the side of the road and carries it, not recognizing it as the lost wand of a wizard, therefore not being destroyed like his two older brothers who tried to wield it for their own profit. The fool's wand is black, the others are white. For the unconscious fool, the spirit force remains always in potential, always ready because he is not consciously directing it. We tend to misunderstand the color black, seeing it as evil or a negation of life. Rather, black means all things being possible. Infinite energy of life before consciousness has constructed any boundaries. When we fear blackness or darkness, we fear the deep unconscious source of life itself.
Wow. I never noticed that, dude. That's a cool breakdown.
It makes sense.
The wand being black in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because it's just potential, like the fool's wand, you know? It's just it doesn't even know what it wants to be yet, almost. And the person wielding it, the fool, doesn't even know at all of its potential or that it's even magical.
Yeah,
or that it has power.
Using it like it's a cane or something.
Yeah, it's using it for something that's not made for. You know, that's cool.
Fascinating.
Very
and I
cool.
love like those.
I'll never not know that now.
Those little details, that you would never even think to look at.
Mm-hmm.
They're sprinkled all throughout this book.
Perfect. I love it. I knew it was going to happen too.
There's one.
Love it.
All right. So, like the Joker, the Fool really belongs anywhere in the deck, in combination with and between any of the other cards. He is the animating force giving life to the static images. In the Major Arcana, he belongs wherever there is a difficult transition. Hence, his position at the beginning, where there is a transition from the everyday world of the Minor Arcana to the world of the archetypes. The Fool also helps us jump the gap from one line to the next. That is, from the Chariot to Strength, from Temperance to the Devil. To reach the Chariot or Temperance requires great effort and courage, and without the Fool's readiness to leap into new territory, we would likely stop with what we have already achieved.
Mm-hmm. You would never have the courage to take the next leap.
It just reminds me of, what's that game? Deal or No Deal? You know, whenever you get up to a certain number and you're like, you know, you came there for the million, right?
Of course,
but like, you know, I could have this 200,000, you know, like, and I could just stop there.
The for sure 200,000.
And a lot of people would absolutely take it. And you could almost call that person a fool if they didn't, right?
For sure.
Like you're foolish not to bank on the already $200,000 more than you already had.
Yeah.
But the idea of the fool is, hey, I kind of wanted that million. You know,
I'm
and
here to play.
I get that there's 200 grand right there, but I came in here with nothing anyway. May as well go for all of it.
Yeah, might as well, right? You're there.
And so that's the energy of the fool. It's that like, let's go, let's do it.
Let's be playful. For sure.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Yeah. So the Fool belongs as well with those cards on difficult passage, such as the Moon and Death. Observe the winding road on each of these two. On the Moon and the Death card, there's a winding road, right? Where he urges us on despite our fears. That the Fool is there, right? So in the Minor Arcana, the Fool relates first of all to wands, action, eagerness, movement without thought. Oh, all right. But it connects as well to the cups with their emphasis on imagination and instinct. The Fool, in fact, combines these two suits. Later, we will see that that this combination, fire and water, represents the way of transformation. Fascinating. So it says, finally, the question arises of the fool's place in divinatory readings. I have already mentioned the importance of readings for a fuller understanding of the cards. Even more, they help us apply the wisdom of the cards to our daily lives. In readings, the fool speaks to us of courage and optimism, urging faith in ourselves and in life. At difficult times, when we come under pressure from people around us to be practical, the fool reminds us that our own inner selves can best tell us what to do, rather than listening to anybody else.
Yeah, dude.
The fool can often symbolize beginnings, courageously leaping off into some new phase of life, particularly when that leap is taken from some deep feeling rather than careful planning. These belong to the fool in its normal position. We must also consider the reversed meanings. That is, when the way we have mixed the cards makes the fool come out with the feet on top. Reverse meanings are controversial among tarot commentators. Those who give formulas as meanings usually just turn the formula around. A simplistic method which has led several interpreters to abandon the whole idea of reverse meanings altogether. But we can also look at reversals as deepening the meaning of the card as a whole. In general, a reverse card indicates that the qualities of the card have become blocked, distorted, or channeled in another direction. For the fool, a reversal means the first of let me see that again. For the fool, a reversal means, first of all, a failure to follow your instincts. Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah.
It can mean not taking a chance at some crucial time because of fear or depending too much on plans and the practical advice of others. Another reverse meaning of the fool will appear at first to contradict the one just given. Recklessness, wildness, crazy schemes all seem the opposite of overcaution, and yet they originate from the same weakness, a failure to act from inside. The reckless person superimposes a conscious or artificial foolishness on his life, both because he does not trust the unconscious to act as a guide, and because he is also afraid of doing nothing. Wow. That sounds about right too.
I think we should keep the inverted meaning, or whenever it comes out upside down.
Yes.
Once we figure it all out, once we understand what each card really means, then it'll be so much easier to interpret it when it comes out upside down.
Yeah, because here's the deal. Whenever you're reading from a book, those are all good, but those are only supposed to be like starting points,
right?
And it's also a person's interpretation of what that card means. So now, and maybe even the interpretation of that card from that person might not even vibe with you. So now you're trying to take another interpretation from somebody that you don't even necessarily vibe with, and you're trying to reverse it. I mean, you're not even getting a clear image of what the upright card means before you even turn it around.
No, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Especially if you're doing a reading for yourself. I think I don't think you want to just look at like, oh, okay, well, what's the opposite of the fool? Because that's what that would be upside down, instead looking at it in a different way. And what does that mean to you? It's that's the best way to interpret that.
Yes. So it says the second reverse meaning suggests another dimension to the fool, the awareness that great chances must be taken only at the proper time. There are, after all, many times when caution is needed, and times that it is better to do nothing at all. The basic thing any oracle teaches us is that no action or attitude is right or wrong except in its proper context. So basically that's saying that's like, just because you got the upside down fool doesn't mean a bad thing. It just means that like it could also be interpreted as there is a time for it and it's coming. It's just not right now.
May not be right now. Exactly. For sure.
Yes.
But the energy or whatever it is that's causing you to contemplate a possible change is in the air and you're aware of it. But like just use caution and put some thought into it. But there is a fresh start coming.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. So it says, as we go further into the tarot, we will see this concept of the proper time permeates the card and is, in fact, the true key to their correct use. The card in the rider pack that falls exactly in the middle of the three lines, that is, justice, means a proper response. So that is it for the fool. What do you think about the fool so far? Well, that's it for the fool. We're about to go on to the magician.
the whole the wand being black because it's it's got some sort of potential that he's unaware of, and I was looking at it too as far as like the tidal wave, seemingly a tidal wave, unless it's mountains, but I don't think it is. It looks like water in the background, like rushing in, like something's about to happen, but he's just like totally unaware of it because he's brand new, you know what I mean? He's not even aware of the obstacles that are to come. But it's nothing to worry about because when that obstacle comes, you'll learn from it and then you move on. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the whole vibe of the Fool is just get started,
Right. It's not like Joe Dirt. I'm new. I don't know what to do. And you're
right.
tripping out.
You
it's like
figure it out.
It's like I'm new and like I'm actually pretty excited that I don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That almost like that is the energy that is propelling the Fool forward.
Yep. Perfect. Perfect.
All right. Well, awesome. Now I feel like we got a way better understanding of the Fool and even the reverse meaning of the Fool.
Dude, this is and now I understand why people look at this book so highly, because it's so, I would have never have figured all that out on my own.
No way.
And now just knowing some of the little things, just the little features within the card is like so much.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, it is, and that's just the Fool, dude. That's the first card.
We're just getting started, man.
We got 77 more, dude.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, my goodness.
So, nextly, we have the Magician, and we have it right here. Sean, if you want to pull it up, you got the card.
Oh, yeah. That's my bad.
And this is all black and white, but same card. The Magician. Everybody knows this card. This is one of my favorite. This is almost everybody's one of their favorite cards, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
So, the Magician emerges very directly from the Fool in the image of the trickster wizard. As mentioned above, Merlin fulfills both of these roles, as well as that of the teacher and wise man, as she was referencing earlier. That Merlin comes through as the teacher and as the wise man, but like he'll come through as that trickster.
Yep.
And many other myths make up the same connection. Earlier, tarot decks pictured Trump number 1 as a conjurer rather than a magus, or even as a juggler tossing colored balls in the air. Charles Williams described him as a juggler tossing the stars and planets. Talking about the magician.
Oh, that's cool.
Most modern images of the Trump follow Waite's wizard, raising a magic wand to bring into reality the spirit force, the energy of life in its most creative form. He holds the wand carefully, aware of the psychic power of the Fool carried so lightly on his shoulder. Thus, the Magician, as the beginning of the major arcana proper, represents consciousness, action, and creation. He symbolizes the idea of manifestation, that is, making something real out of the possibilities in life. Therefore, we see the 4 emblems of the minor arcana lying on the table in front of him. He not only uses the physical world for all of his magical operations, that being the 4 emblems are the objects used by wizards in their rituals, talking about the cup and the sword and the wand, but he also creates the world in the sense of giving life a meaning and direction. The Magician stands surrounded by flowers to remind us that the emotional and creative power that we feel in our lives needs to be grounded in physical reality for us to get any value from it. Unless we make something of our potentials, they don't really exist.
That's great.
Wow. Yeah.
That's cool. I was looking so I'm sitting here and looking at the card, and I think it's really very symbolic of that. Really, like he's holding up the candle or whatever it is, and it's almost like he found some sort of a purpose or meaning, right? It's like aha, you know what I'm saying?
That's
like
the wand. He's holding up the wand.
The wand. So like from the Fool, like not really knowing what's going on or what he's gonna do, but he's just making the leap, and then to the Magician, he's like, oh, like he's got something. Like in his mind, and the infinity symbol almost representing like an infinite amount of abundance or potential. Like it's just kind of the wheels are turning, dude. But he's just like, I got something, not sure exactly what it is, but like I'm gonna fucking work with it,
dude. And notice how that wand turned from black to white, and so just by that little difference, he's gone from like, yeah, I might have this powerful wand. I don't know what it does yet, though.
Yeah.
But now he's a fucking full-on magician, and he's holding it up to the gods. You know what I mean? And he's balancing himself with the other hand pointed down with the cups and the pentacles and the sword on the table in front of him.
Realizing his power, dude.
Yeah. He's doing it. You know?
He's doing it, man. He's beginning to believe.
Yeah.
Love
So
it.
in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The Bible begins at the moment the Spirit descends into physical reality. For us, in the physical world, we can talk of nothing before this moment. In the linking of the tarot with the Hebrew alphabet, the fool often receives the first letter, Aleph. So Aleph bears no sound. It is a silent carrier of vowels and therefore symbolizes nothingness. It is the first letter of the 10 Commandments. Oh, how about that?
Wait, where is this where is this letter at? I'm sorry.
In the
man.
Hebrew alphabet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this would assign the second Hebrew letter, Beth, the first letter with an actual sound, to the magician. Beth is the first letter of Genesis. Oh, interesting. And it's just showing like why it's, the first actual card. Because remember, the fool is 0.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So looking at Waite's picture of the magician, he is not casting spells or conjuring up demons. He simply stands with one hand raised to heaven and the other pointed to the green earth. He is a lightning rod. By opening himself up to the spirits, he draws it down into himself and then downward, and then that downward hand, like a lightning rod buried into the ground, runs the energy into the earth, into reality.
He is the conduit. That is the energy.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
So he's taking
cool.
the lightning
The bridge.
from the heavens. His body is the bridge, and why he's pointing down at the earth is because he's trying to birth it into physical reality.
Right.
Crazy.
Mhm. He's making it real.
Checks out. So it says we see many accounts of the descent of the Spirit in the Bible, in other religious texts, and in contemporary religious experience. People, in quotes, speak in tongues in Pentecostal churches. They scream and shout and roll on the floor at gospel meetings. The priest giving communion sees himself as a quote-unquote vessel or a channel for the Holy Ghost. But we can see this experience in much simpler, non-religious terms as well. People tremble with excitement at sporting events. I'm so excited I could burst. In a new love affair or at the start of a new career, we feel a power filling us. You can sometimes see people at the opening of some important phase of their lives tapping their legs up and down, bouncing, half bouncing in their seats, filled with some energy that they can't seem to discharge. And and writers and artists, when their work is going well, will experience themselves as almost passive channels for a spirit-like force.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude.
Love it.
The word,
Love it.
The word inspiration originally meant. Oh, this is crazy. The word inspiration originally meant filled with holy breath and derives from the same root as spirit.
Whoa. Okay.
Inspiration.
All right.
I mean, you think about it. You look at the word inspiration. You can spell spirit out of those words, out of those letters.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it says, notice that all of these examples, all but the priest and the artist, are seized with a frenzy. The possessed churchgoer and the teenager about to burst at a football game share the same feeling that their bodies are overwhelmed by a power too great for it. Far from being the gentle surge of energy can be almost painful. The person in religious fervor shouts and leaps about in order to release an unbearable energy. The life force that fills the universe is not gentle or benign. It must be discharged, grounded into something real, because our bodies, ourselves, are not meant to contain it, but only pass it on.
Yes, dude.
I love this person. R.I.P. Actually, she just died in 2023.
Really?
Yeah, like real recent.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad we're passing this knowledge on, dude.
Hey, dude, we are but a vessel of passing.
A conduit, if you will, of energy.
Yes. So thus, the artist does not join in on the physical frenzy because she or he is discharging that power into the painting. Similarly, the priest passes the power into the bread and wine. Oh, you see how that is?
Mm-hmm.
So,
no, I really vibe with that as far as the painting, because the artist, right? He's in the flow. He's just kind of not even questioning the colors that he's using and how he's making it look, and then he puts it up on the wall and then someone else looks at it, right? That's where the magic, the energy exchange happens, because he almost stores that energy into a painting. It's a type of kinetic energy, right? It's just kind of sitting there waiting for someone to observe it.
Yeah.
And when they do, they feel something.
Well,
You know?
I mean, and also think about it like this, like, whenever writers get writer's block, it's almost like that inspiration is lost, so they don't have that energy to pull from.
Right. Oh shit. Dang.
Yeah, pretty fun. It says we function best as a channel for energy. Unless we follow the path of the high priestess and withdrawing from the world, we live our lives most fully when we create or are active. Create does not mean simply art, but any activity that produces something real and valuable outside of ourselves. Many people experience feelings of being powerful so infrequently that they try to hold on to them. But that's so fucking true too.
They try to hold on to what now?
Let me read that again.
Okay.
Many people experience feelings of being powerful so infrequently that they try to hold on to them.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
Checks out.
Yeah.
By doing nothing, they hope to preserve their magic moments. But we can really hold on to our we can really hold on to our power in our lives only by constantly discharging it. By releasing creative power, we open ourselves up to receive a further flow. However, by trying to hold on to it, we block the channels, and the sense of power, which is really life itself, withers within us. The spectator,
So use it or lose it, dude.
yeah, basically.
Wow.
May as
Imagine
well.
and think about how you feel, when let's say you're just being lazy, right? You're just kind of sitting around and then you get into this funk because you're not doing anything. You're not, using any energy. You're not moving around, but then once you finally start moving around and you start doing something, even if it's not art, like it said, you're just being productive. You're just kind of clearing some space. You're organizing. You're just using that energy. All of a sudden you just feel so much better. It's like, I wish it was that easy to just start doing something when you're feeling that way, because there's times where I'm like, oh, I feel really good about, getting all this done. And I saw this video on this and it describes it perfectly. But basically, like when you're doing something, you feel good about yourself. And when you're not doing something, you feel bad and you wish you felt better, but you can't feel better because you're not doing stuff. And it's just like this thing or whatever. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's a never-ending cycle of just laziness at that point, because you sold yourself on the lie that you're going to contain this energy for a better time.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like you're just losing it at that point.
Exactly. So it says the spectator at the football game, even the possessed churchgoer, I love that she labels it as that.
Yeah.
Will find their excitement gone after the event that triggered it is ended. I don't know why that was worded that way. But the craftsman or scientist or teacher, or for that matter, the tarot reader, will find the power increase over the years the more they discharge it into physical reality. When we look at the magician, those of us who feel a lack or flatness in our lives will be drawn to the wand raised towards the heavens. But the real magic rests in the finger pointing down to the earth. That ability to create gives him his title. His image stems not only from the trickster conjurer, but also from the archetypal hero. In our culture, this would be Prometheus, who brought the heavenly fire down to weak and cold humanity. In the West, we tend to see wizards as manipulators. They learn secret techniques or make deals with Satan in order to gain personal power.
Of course.
Yeah. Most people look at it like that.
Yep.
This somewhat decadent image comes partly from the magicians themselves, since they make charms to find buried treasure, but also from the church, which sees magicians who deal directly with the spirit instead of going through the official priesthood as competitors. The tarot and all occult sciences are in a sense revolutionary because they teach direct salvation in this life through your own efforts. Fuck with that. Let's go, baby.
It gets me thinking of the whole energy, frequency, and vibration. It's like the frequency in which you are using your energy can lift or lower or diminish your energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, your vibration rather.
It's a lot like imagine you drink coffee every morning, right?
Yes.
I'm drinking a coffee
dude.
right now.
I've noticed how addicted I am, dude. Because if I don't have it and it's been like 2 hours, dude, like I don't even recognize people, dude. I'm like, who am I? What's going on?
What is this place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's moving too fast.
The reason why I bring up coffee is that what happens whenever you wait too long to drink it, it starts to go cold, right? And it's not even, dude, the idea around heat and coldness and room temperature is kind of a not a clusterfuck, but it's kind of a mind fuck if you really think about it.
Yeah.
All it is just atoms that are dancing around at a much faster
Bouncing
frequency.
off of each other. Yeah.
They're like, they're ready to go. It's hot. It's creating all this heat and creating all this
Mm-hmm.
energy, right?
Friction,
And
right.
then it goes down. Once you don't drink it, it goes down to room temperature. And then it starts turning ice cold. That energy is gone, right? And so look at us like that. Like if we are to have all this energy, you better use it or else it's just going to dissipate into cold coffee.
Exactly. I mean, if you think about it, you know, people that like myself, I feel like I need to like start going to the gym, because once you go to the gym, like you don't want to go, but then once you're done and you leave the gym, you just feel good. You feel like you've got extra energy to burn now. And you would think that by using an hour's worth of energy at the gym in the morning would kind of deplete you. And then the rest of the day would be you'd be tired, you know, but it's like the opposite.
Yeah,
you know, it's almost like you get that energy going.
It's a generator at that point.
Yeah.
And instead of just being a container of that energy, you turn into a generator of that energy.
Right. Instead of losing your energy for not using it, you're building it up and making more of it. And now you have energy for other people, and that can ripple outward. You know?
Yes. So it says we can get a different concept of the magician through the image of the shaman or medicine man, because no hierarchical church has arisen to banish the shamans. They have not become isolated from the community. They serve as healers, teachers, and directors of the soul after death. Like the wizards, the shamans study and learn complicated techniques. Their magical vocabulary is often much larger than the everyday vocabulary of the people around them. None of this training, however, is used to manipulate the spirit or for personal gain. Rather, the shaman only seeks to become a proper channel for both himself, so he will not be overwhelmed, and for the community, so that he can serve them better. He knows the great power that will enter him at moments of ecstasy, and he wants to make sure it does not destroy him and make him of no use to the people around him.
Nice.
So it's interesting to look at the magician almost like a wizard at that point.
Yeah.
Like the wizard, the shaman has developed his will to the point where he can direct that fire that fills him. At the same time, he remains open, allowing his ego to dissolve under the direct onslaught of the spirit. It says something about our culture that wizards stand inside magic circles to make sure the demons cannot touch them. We can apply the shaman attitude to our use of the whole tarot deck. We study the cards, learn the symbolic language, even specific formulas, in order to give a direction to the feelings that they arouse in us. But we must not forget that the true magic lies in the images. The true magic lies in the images themselves and not the explanations. So pay, and that's why your intuition is always going to be a lot better than any book.
Oh yeah, because you're the one that knows you best.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's basically to say that, if you think about it, every book is a square or a rectangle. It's like the shape of a box, right?
Yeah.
And your imagination does not have that box. It is free to roam about, you know? And so that's why it's a little bit more important, I think. But it says the divinatory meanings of the magician derive from both hands, the one which receives the power and the one which directs it. The card means, first of all, an awareness of power in your life, or an awareness of power in your life, of spirit, or simple excitement possessing you. It can also mean, depending on its position and your reaction to it, someone else's power affecting you. Like the Fool, the card refers to beginnings, but here, the first actual steps. It can mean both the inspiration to begin some new project or phase of life, and the excitement that sustains you through the hard work to reach your goal. For many people, the magician can become a strong personal symbol for the creative force throughout their lives. Secondly, the magician means willpower. Yeah, that makes sense. So willpower. It says the will unified and directed towards goals. It means having great strength because all your energy is channeled in a specific direction. People who seem always to get what they want in life are often people who simply know what they want and can direct their energy.
Right. So instead of like we said before, performing magic accidentally, because you're just randomly saying this or doing that, and it's not necessarily getting you any closer to any one thing. You're kind of being pulled in all directions. This guy, he knows the purpose. He knows where he wants to point the wand, and it's white now, so the purpose is built in now. So now it's like, okay, I'm going to put all of that energy, frequency, and vibration into that.
Yes. So the magician teaches us that both willpower and success derive from being conscious of the power available to everyone. Most people rarely act. Instead, they react, being knocked from one experience to the next. To act is to direct your strength through the will to the places where you want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Instead of
fire.
being like the dog on the fool's card, kind of just reacting by instinct. It's like, no, like what you're doing, right? You're not being reactive.
Yes.
Love it.
The magician reversed signifies that in some way the proper flow of energy has become disrupted or blocked. Good to know. Right.
Okay.
So almost look at the magician as magic, or the magical flow of energy, which, I mean, he is the conduit anyway.
Yeah.
So
Just being in that flow state, really.
it can mean a weakness, a lack of will, or a confusion of purpose that leads to doing nothing. The power is there, but we cannot touch it. The card reverse can mean the lethargic apathy that characterizes depression.
Okay.
Makes sense.
All
Yeah.
right.
The reverse trump, so the reverse card can also mean power abused, a person who uses his or her very strong character to exert a destructive influence on others. The most direct example of this would, of course, be the psychic aggression of black magic.
Okay.
Interesting. Finally, the magician reverse indicates mental disquiet, hallucinations, fear, and particularly fear of madness. This problem arises when the energy or spirit fire enters a person who does not know how to direct it into an outer reality. If we do not ground the lightning, it can become trapped in the body and force itself on our awareness as anxiety or hallucinations.
Or demons,
Holy
even,
shit.
right?
You could
If we
say
want to
that.
go there.
Anyone who has ever gone through a moment of total panic will know that acute mental anxiety is a very physical experience, a feeling of the body running wild, like a fire out of control. The word panic means possessed by the god Pan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What?
Oh,
The word panic means possessed by the god Pan, himself a symbol of magical forces.
wow.
Wow.
I have to look into that, I think.
Peter Pan, dude, maybe. All right.
Peter Pan.
Think again of the lightning rod. It not only attracts the bolt, but runs it into the dirt. Without that connection to the earth, the lightning would burn down the house. Several writers have commented on the relationship between shamanism and what the West calls schizophrenia. Oh, this is about to get good.
Real quick, not to throw it off too much. I just find it interesting because at work, they're moving these huge machines. One of the machines is like $140,000 for this machine. It's like a big industrial machine, but they had to drop the power cords. It took them a long time to put all the new electrical in and everything else, and they're putting the wires into the machine. And then today, this guy was like drilling and pounding this big copper rod into the ground. Like this rod was probably 5 feet long, and he's just like just drilling it into the ground, like making sure that it's completely grounded. And that's just a synchronicity for me, dude. Just going off of this information.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Bringing that power from up here and getting it into the ground.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Well, that's what
It's
they say.
interesting.
Like those copper rods. They say that if you put them like in your garden, your plants will grow a lot better because it's receiving a little bit of electricity, or almost a little bit of the I guess you can say a little bit of the ether, like whatever
drawing it from the atmosphere. Right?
Yeah, like all the positive ions that are being drawn down.
Yeah.
So
Kind of like what
essentially-
Tesla was trying to do, I think.
It's exactly what he was doing, pulling it from the atmosphere for sure. But a lot like, so you can almost look at that copper rod as the magician.
Yeah.
Just that conduit, you know? So let me read that last part again. So
Okay.
several writers have commented on the relationship between shamanism and what the West calls schizophrenia. Shamans are often not so much chosen as found. If, in our culture, a young person experiences visions, fearful hallucinations, we do not know what to do with such experiences other than try and stop them by drugs and self-control. But in other cultures, such people receive training. This is not to say that madness does not exist and is not recognized in archaic cultures. Rather, the training is meant to prevent madness by channeling the experience into a productive direction. The initiates learn through study with an established shaman and through physical techniques such as fasting, how to understand, structure, and finally direct these visionary experiences towards the service of the community. The magician reversed should not be banished or confined. Instead, we must find a way to turn it right side up.
Figure out the proper use for it, man. I think that was something you even mentioned when we did the schizophrenia episode. You know, like there's something that they're possibly tapping into. You know, there's something going on with that. You know, but
I don't think they're
crazy.
crazy.
I wonder what and I'm sure that we can find this somewhere, but what the age is, like the limit to which people either get schizophrenia or they don't. You know, like once you hit a certain age, if you're not schizophrenic at this point, then you're probably not schizophrenic, right? And so the things that you're experiencing, whether it be voices or visual things happening when your eyes are shut, you know what I'm saying? This is just some spiritual thing happening rather than the quote unquote the actual schizophrenia.
Dude,
you know,
I'm actually so happy you brought this up because I wanted to insert this into the show, this fun little fact. How about this woman, Rachel Pollack, who wrote this book?
Yeah.
She helped write the comics for the DC comic called Doom Patrol, which I always tell you to try and watch.
Oh yeah,
right?
I know. Yep.
Because there is a person in there, like a superhero, I mean, kind of like an anti-hero kind of situation, who is schizophrenic. And she has all these different characters in her mind.
Right.
And every single personality has a different like superpower, right? Like, it's so cool. It's like the coolest one, but she struggles with it because she doesn't know how to like pick and choose which one to come forth and stuff like that, right?
Right.
And it's all because like whenever she was a little girl, she went through like a lot of trauma with her dad and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into the details, but like went through a lot of trauma with her dad, and it caused her mind to splinter because she wanted someone more powerful that would stand up against him. And so then came this big badass bitch right out of her, right? And that person was able to stand up to her dad. And then she was like, oh, that worked out really well. Let me create all these other personalities to help deflect off of that too. And then lo and behold, I mean, not to spoil it, but she eventually learns how to like properly direct,
utilize
and flow,
the proper,
all of that.
Right.
And so it's just fascinating that the person that created that is the person that wrote this tarot book.
Oh, that's great. It's because she has the understanding that all of these archetypes are within all of us, you know, and it's up to us to figure out which one we need to bring out at the appropriate time. You know, which character is going to be the most appropriate character to handle this situation.
Dude,
you know?
yes. And I cannot like refer that show enough. It is so good. Dude, Brendan Fraser's a superhero in it.
Okay. Yeah,
like,
I know. I got to watch it, dude. I got to watch it.
Fucking Brendan Fraser, who made a comeback. You know, like the man. Like that was like one of our heroes as a child. You know, watching The Mummy. Like,
dude, it's so funny. I just saw a video of The Mummy, like some behind the scenes stuff today of him.
What?
Like talking about like, because the wind was blowing, he's like, oh, we're gonna have to hire the wind as a paid actor, you know. And he was just saying, you know, that he was just glad to be on the set, and he's trying to build good relationships with people and just make the job just a good environment or whatever. But it's just funny you bring him up, and just another synchronicity, dude. We're literally generating synchronicities right now.
We're synchronicity generators, baby. You just need an outlet for it, you know?
Yeah, dude, you just gotta be open.
But yeah, dude, Brendan Fraser is the man. And honestly, I kind of look at him as like our generation's Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that same character. Because
absolutely.
He was in Journey to the Center of the Earth, you know, and
he was like he's like a protector almost, you know, like his vibe in that movie is like, he's just tough, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like this mummy's coming around. He's just like, get back, you know, and he's like, dude, and he's just like blowing him up. And it's like, fuck, dude. You know,
I
like
know.
when he's on the screen, you know he's gonna handle business.
Exactly.
You know,
Like
you
Bruce
don't gotta
Willis.
worry really. Like you're safe really. You're already rescued, and there's still mummies around.
Dude, and it's so good too. Like it's and his character in that, he's like a Sheehan version of Iron Man, basically.
Oh, right.
Like he's this robot.
Love it.
But it's hilarious because every other word out of his mouth is fuck.
Oh, right.
It's like hilarious hearing Brendan Fraser say all
right.
that, you know?
Of course.
But
I
anyway,
love that.
yeah, go and check it out. Doom Patrol. Awesome. I might
All right,
rewatch
I'll do
it.
it.
I might just rewatch it. It's that awesome.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll wait until you get here, and we'll start it when you're here.
It's I think it's like 4 or 5 seasons, but it's really good.
For sure. Right.
So yeah, we got that's it for the magician. We are on to the high priestess now.
I mean, already, dude. Already. If we do a tarot card reading, these 2 cards, I think we're gonna have a pretty good understanding of how we're going to interpret the situation.
Down pat.
You know what I mean?
And that's why
this is what we need to do. We need to just do a few cards at a time. You know?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
just kind of think about it and contemplate and just fully understand it before we move on and do the next 3. You know
exactly. Yeah, it's important to, chew on a couple of bites rather than the whole plate.
Right. And that way they really become something that we just can't forget. You know, as soon as you see this card, you're just going to know, you're just going to remember a particular episode when we learn something about that card. You know what I mean?
Yes. And like that video that we watched earlier about, initiation into the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, you know, every single, like it was like one card that they would sit there and meditate on and imagine that they were walking into a door into that scene. And like that was like what you had to do that day. All right, today we are walking into the scene of the Fool, right?
And think about how smart that is. It's like when you do that and you're in meditation, you're at that point you're literally embodying the emotion, the feeling of what that card gives you.
You remember
and
it.
so then it just kind of locks it into your mind. So when you see the card, boom, you have that feeling, assuming you did it right, you know what I'm saying, that you just have that feeling of that card. So already, without even getting too far into the symbolism, you're just feeling the card.
Well, and I mean, and this is especially according to Rachel, is that whenever you go into that card, you're going to pick up on so many things unconsciously, subconsciously, that the words in a book will never even come close to. If you're able to connect with it enough, if you're able to go deep enough into meditation to where you're literally fucking astral projecting into that world of that card.
Yeah. I would love to do one of those, maybe for the magician. I think that would be the coolest one. Like just to start, I know it would probably be the Fool, would probably be the traditional path. I'm not even sure which card they start with, but you would imagine it's the Fool. But I would like to do one for the magician.
Yeah, it's the first step.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think that everybody already has the Fool built in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course. Yeah.
And so, you know what? Stay tuned because that's what we're meditating on tonight, dude.
Love it.
We are walking
I'm excited.
through the door into the world of the magician.
I love it.
So look, if you do want to come over and meditate for that, just to drop it here in case nobody knows, we have a Patreon. If you want to come and check it out, it's patreon.com/metamystics. That link's down in the show notes below. It is the best way to be able to support us. And we do really appreciate everybody who has supported us in that way. But what Patreon has that nowhere else, no Spotify, no Apple Podcasts, no YouTube, what Patreon has is the meditation. So if you're interested in meditating on this episode, and that's what every single meditation is all about. It is always a meditation that is aligned as well as we possibly can find to the episode itself. So if you almost want to go into the world of this episode even deeper than just the words that are coming out of our mouth, to go into the energy of the frequency of the vibration of the information that we're talking about right here, then come over to patreon.com/metamystics. That's down in the show notes below. We have several tiers over there. So you can sign up for $3.33 a month, which is, I don't even know what, I mean, I think you can't even get 2 things at the $1.75 store with that.
No, dude, not at all. They tell you to get out of here.
No, you're not doing it. So,
Right.
I mean, it's worth it for sure. And it's completely commercial free. So if
Yeah,
you're worried about
there's that.
commercials, and you get the shows a couple of days in advance too. How about that one?
Yeah.
So it's
Sign
the
up
best
for
way.
Patreon. Just come meditate with us. You know.
Come
Just do
meditate
it.
with us. And there's also another tier. It's $8.88 a month. So you get all of that, what we just mentioned. Plus, you'll be able to join us every Wednesday night for our Wonder Wednesday live show. You can come in and join and just be a fly on the wall, or you can join in on the conversation. Maybe you have a question for our guest, or maybe you have a question, or maybe you want to tell us about an experience that you had. You're not crazy. You'll never seem crazy in this show. I promise you that. There's no such thing as gone too far.
Right. Exactly. Join the live. Raise your hand, and we'll just let you talk for a bit if you'd like.
Please.
That's an option.
Yes, we
You know?
welcome that for sure. So, all right, let's get over to the High Priestess now.
All right. I'm ready,
This
man.
one is fascinating. As a matter of fact, this is where I stopped, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so good! It has to be talked
It
about
has
on
to
the
be a
show."
show. Yeah, dude.
So, the High Priestess. It says, Bill Butler in the Definitive Tarot book has commented on the historical legendary source for this female archetype. Throughout the Middle Ages, the story persisted that a woman was once elected pope. Disguised for years as a man, this supposed Pope Joan made her way through the church hierarchy to the top position, only to die in childbirth during an Easter celebration.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that theory that Pope Joan, like, it actually was a woman, which is kind of crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like some G.I. Jane type shit going on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Pope Joan was most likely a legend, though. The Visconti Papist was real, though. So in the late 13th century, an Italian group called the Guglielmites, I think, believed that their founder, Guglielma of Bohemia, who died in 1281, would rise again in 1300 and begin a new age in which women would be popes. So would raise 19 years later, and that would be coming of the new age where women could be popes. Interesting.
Okay.
Jumping ahead, they elected a woman named Manfreda Visconti as the first papist. The church graphically ended this heresy by burning Sister Manfreda in 1300, the year of the expected New Age. Some 150 years later, the same Visconti family commissioned the first set of tarot cards as we know them. How about that?
Wow.
Wow. They burned her because... heresy, rather. Crazy. So, and then as a result, they're like, oh, we're not going to be allowed in the church. Hey, how about a fucking tarot deck? We don't need your middleman. We don't need your service or anything like that. I love it. So yeah, they commissioned the first set of tarot cards as we know them. That was in the 1300s. I don't know why I always thought it was like the 1800s or something like that, but I guess it goes all the way back. All right.
Okay.
Among these unnumbered and unnamed trumps appeared a picture of a woman the later decks titled the Papist. So this would be the High Priestess, also known as the Papist.
Okay.
The name persisted until the 18th century when the Court de Gebelin, believing the tarot to originate in the Isis religion of ancient Egypt, changed the name to the High Priestess. That's how it changed. All right. So they thought that this deck came from Egypt, and they were like, why the Papists? Let's try and make it real, right? If we believe it came from Egypt, and if it came from Egypt, then it's going to be a High Priestess.
Of course. Right. Yep.
I like it either way, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
It says, today, both names exist, as well as Veiled Isis. And the Rider-Waite image of the card derives directly from the Isis priestess's symbolic clothing, particularly the crown representing the three phases of the moon. Can you show that card for us right quick?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So the crown showing the three phases of the moon. Okay. So you got the full moon and of course,
and
the waxing and the waning.
Yep.
I like it. All right. Which makes sense for an Egyptian symbology there.
Yep.
So the Pope Joan legend and Manfreda Visconti are not simply historical curiosities. They illustrate a major social development in the Middle Ages, the reintroduction of the female and feminine principles into religion and cosmology. The images and the concepts associated with the masculine role had dominated both the church and Jewish religion for centuries. As a result, ordinary people experienced the religions of the priests and rabbis as remote, harsh, and unapproachable, with their emphasis on sin, judgment, and punishment, as they like to do.
Of course. Yep.
They wanted qualities of mercy and love, and they identified with these women. Like a mother shelters her child from the somewhat distant strictness of the father, the female deity supposedly would intrude for the pathetic sinners against the unremitting judgment of the father.
Whoa.
Superhero mom.
All right. Yeah.
It is interesting to realize that in many ways the church saw Christ as the son in exactly that role of introducing love and compassion. Yet the people demanded a female. Even the idea of the church as a mother church did not go far enough. Finally, the church capitulated by raising the Virgin Mary almost to the level of Christ himself, which is what they do in Catholicism.
Okay.
7 Hail Marys. You know what I mean? You're calling on
Yeah.
Mary. Many writers and scholars believe that the elevation of Mary, as well as the priest's costume of long skirts, originated in the church's desire to assimilate a persistent goddess religion from the days before Christianity. Oh. If this is true, it would indicate not so much a cultural conservatism as the power of the female archetype to maintain a hold and partially triumph against suppression. In Judaism, the official religion of the rabbis, managed to resist any insurgent feminism. They're like, I'll be damned if there's going to be any woman in charge over here in Judaism.
Yeah. I wonder what they think about Mother Earth. Do you think that bothers people?
Probably.
They don't like that much, right?
Yeah, there's not even a female angel.
That's crazy.
Like the closest that you can get to any form of hierarchy within the church is a nun.
Right. Wow.
Like,
that's unbelievable, man.
You're a borderline babysitter is really what you are.
Women are literally like making people, and they just like are within religion and stuff looked down upon it and like that. It just don't make sense to me, dude.
They
don't make sense.
They are the Matrix themselves. What's funny is that
that's right. Yeah.
Even within the Bible, this is where it gets crazy too.
Mm-hmm.
So within the Bible, whenever women are on their period, they are seen as unclean and you should stay away from them.
Weird, huh?
Yeah.
One of the most natural things you can have happen, right?
Dude, not only should you stay away from them, you should stay away from everything that they touch because they make everything that they touch unclean.
That's ridiculous.
This is to the same level of they believe this so strictly in the same sort of power as they do like against homosexuals.
Wow.
It's like,
is this information that they got from God? Supposedly,
of course they did. The whole thing is inspired by God, right?
Right. You just never know, right? Because I don't know. I had to ask.
Yeah,
that seems ignorant to me. No,
I could go on and on, but I'm not gonna.
Of course,
I'm not gonna harp on it.
Yep.
So where were we? Okay. So the people's need, however, took hold in another area, the long tradition of the Kabbalah. Let's go. The Kabbalists took a term from the Talmud, Shekinah, which meant God's glory manifest in the physical world, and revised it to make it God's anima, or female side. Wow. God's female side would be the representation of the Kabbalah. Interesting.
Right.
The Kabbalists also revised the idea of Adam, making him originally hermaphroditic.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
Like the Baphomet. Yeah.
Yeah.
The separation of Eve from Adam, even the separation of the Shekinah from God, became images of isolation and exile, sometimes connected to Adam and the sin of disobedience. So far, we have looked at the benign motherly qualities of female mythological figures. Historically, however, female deities have always shown a dark, hidden side as well. To introduce the female at all is to introduce the whole archetype. The tarot splits up the feminine archetype into two trumps, and action. By the way, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about the major arcana are called the trumps, in case anybody doesn't know.
Of course.
Obviously, Trump wasn't around in 1300, so
no.
So yeah, it splits it up into 2 trumps and actually assigns the benign qualities to the second one, which is the third trump card, which is the Empress. So the High Priestess herself represents a deeper, more subtle aspect of the female, that of the dark, the mysterious, and the hidden. As such, she connects to the virgin side of the Virgin Mary, the pure daughter side of the Shekinah, who was pictured simultaneously as mother, wife, and daughter. Okay. So it's like almost like the High Priestess is the shadow of the what was the other one that I said? Of the Empress.
Mm-hmm.
We should realize that this assigning of qualities to women comes mostly from men and male ideas. The Kabbalists, the occultists, and the tarot designers all deplored the separation of men and women into categories and taught unification as a final goal, which makes sense.
Yep.
This is shown by the world dancer of the tarot. Whenever they talk about the world dancer, they're talking about the fool that's going through, like that's another word for the person, the fool that's transforming in every card, right?
It's the world dancer. Okay.
Yes. So they were ahead of the established religion, which even debated whether women had souls at all.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, the gall, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
nevertheless, men still made the categories. To men, women have always appeared mysterious, strange, and when safely in their mother role, loving and merciful. Women seem alien to men, more subtle in their thinking and non-rational. In our time, constant novels and films have pictured simple men manipulated by cunning women. The fact that the menstrual cycle lasts about as long as the lunar cycle links women to that remote silvery body, because the moon is always known as silver, sun is gold, right?
right. Okay.
Menstruation itself, a copious bleeding from the genitals with no loss of life, has simply terrified men through the centuries.
It's evil.
What is this?
How are you not dying? Right? That's what they're thinking.
Why are you able to just generate more?
Some sort of magic.
Where's it coming from?
You know, which obviously comes from the devil.
You're a witch.
You know? Right.
Tie a millstone to your leg.
Yep.
During the leg.
Yep.
So even today, superstitious Jews believe that 1 drop of menstrual blood will kill a plant. That's actually the opposite. Like menstrual blood is actually really good for plants.
It's a weird thought to even have, but
I'm
keep
saying,
it away
dude.
from my plants.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fearful mystery of birth further connected women to the idea of darkness. The fetus grows and the soul enters in the warm, moist darkness of the womb. Motherhood likened women to the earth, and there too darkness dominates. Seeds lie on the ground through the dark, dead winter to emerge as food under the warm, reassuring rays of the sun, which in many cultures is considered male. Just as the sun's rays penetrate the earth, so the male organ penetrates the female to leave a seed in her mysterious womb. We can easily see how men came to view themselves as active and women as both passive and mysterious. People often link passive with negative, or that is, inferior and weak. But passivity contains its own power. It gives the mind a chance to work. People who only know action never get a chance to reflect on what action has taught them. In a deeper sense, passivity allows the unconscious to emerge. Only through the withdrawal from outer involvement can we allow the inner voice of vision and psychic forces to speak to us. That's a good... That's dude,
interesting.
I never looked at the High Priestess in this way.
Yeah. No, that's great, dude. I love it.
I didn't get this far.
I love it.
So we're new now.
We're caught up. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, wow. Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at the High Priestess, though. Almost like the way in, like, it's the woman that men always perceived women as. The one that is, you know, unknown and mysterious and potentially a witch kind of thing. You know?
Yep.
Here we go. So it is precisely to avoid this inner voice. Oh, wait. Yeah. With psychic forces to speak to us. So it is precisely to avoid this inner voice that many people never rest from action and involvement. Our society, based completely on outer achievement, fosters a terror of the unconscious, yet without its wisdom, we can never fully know ourselves or the world. The High Priestess represents all of these qualities: darkness, mystery, psychic forces, the power of the moon to stir the unconscious, passivity, and the wisdom gained from it. The wisdom cannot be expressed in rational terms. To try to do so would be to immediately limit, narrow, and falsify it. Most people at some time have felt they understood something in such a deep way that they could never manage to explain it. Myths serve as metaphors for deep psychic feelings. Yet the myths themselves, like the explanations given by theologians and anthropologists, are only symbols. Though you think about what's his name? Carl Jung. I mean, he talks about the archetypes. They're just symbols, dude. Like, forget about looking at gods as external forces. They are nothing more than archetypal symbols of your mind.
Can you go back real quick and read that part where it said the mythological stories are, and then
I want
to hear that again.
So I'll read that. So most people at some time have felt that they understood something in such a deep way that they could never manage to explain it. Myths serve as metaphors for deep psychic feelings. Yet the myths themselves, like the explanations given by theologians and anthropologists, are only symbols. So the High Priestess signifies inner wisdom at its deepest level.
See what I'm saying? Like, that's why there is this sense of truth in so many of these different mythological stories, is because it's us.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the feelings we have that we can't describe. So let's put a story to it and try to make it something that we can visualize, and so we can try to understand this, psychic feelings or emotions, or, that's great. I love that.
It's another reason why Jesus spoke in parables.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to explain what you experience on the inner world. It's hard to explain what you experience in a dream. It's hard to explain what you experience in a fucking DMT blast off. Like, the words simply do it nothing.
Right.
And that's just what's so fascinating about it. And so basically, that's what the High Priestess represents. That person that is willing to go all the way into the depths, and people are seeing her as like, oh my God, this woman, like, I don't trust her. I don't like her, unless she's, like having sex with me, or if she's taking care of my kids, or she's cleaning the house, then I'll trust her. But like, whenever she's off on her own and she's like deep diving into the spirit, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I love it, dude. Look at her, dude. She's just sitting there in her power, dude. You know what I mean? Like, she knows what's up.
100%.
She knows what's up.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, you see those two pillars with the B and the J on it?
Yeah.
We're about to get to that too.
Okay, cool. Because I've always wondered.
It is fascinating. I do remember reading that part. Okay. So, here we go. Here we go. So, she sits before two pillars representing both the Temple of Isis and the ancient Hebrew temple in Jerusalem, the dwelling place of God on earth. In other words, the home of the Shekinah. A veil hangs between the two pillars, indicating that we are barred from entering the place of wisdom. The image, the image of the veiled temple or sanctuary appears in many religions. The Shekinah was indeed said to dwell within the veiled ark of the temple. Now, most people assume we are somehow forbidden to pass the pillars of the High Priestess. In reality, we simply do not know how to. To enter behind the veil would be to know consciously the irrational wisdom of the unconscious. Wow.
That's so cool, dude. I love that.
Don't you fuck with this book, dude.
It's the illusion that you can't pass through. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're so consumed with the things that you think you know.
Oh, dude. It's like the willingness to pass through the veil of the forest and the trees whenever you're trying to enter into Wakanda. It's like you're just like, all right, it's not going to be this. I know it's going to be something else, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, you have no idea.
Oh, I love it. So that is the goal of the entire major arcana. Damn, I wish we would have read that again. So look carefully at Smith's picture. So this Rider Waite Smith. Or Wade Smith, I believe, is the tarot card that everybody knows. So look carefully at that picture. You can see what lies behind the veil by looking between the veil and the pillars. And what lies behind is water. No great temple or complex symbols. simply a pool of water, a line of hills, and the sky. The pool signifies the unconscious and the truth hidden there. The water is motionless, the secrets in its darkest depths, hidden under a smooth surface. So that is this card that we're talking about, or is he referring to? Okay.
Yep.
Can you show me that card one more again?
Yeah. So beyond the pillars and the veil, there's just a blue background with just subtle hints of maybe a landscape, but it's just water.
I see. Perfect. Okay. So for most of us, at times, the turbulent unconscious remains hidden under a placid layer of consciousness. We cannot enter the temple because we do not know how to go into ourselves. Therefore, we must travel. Therefore, we must travel through the major arcana until we reach the star and the moon, where we can finally stir up the waters and return with the wisdom to the conscious light of the sun.
We wouldn't even know what to do if we went in there. Basically,
You haven't gone far enough.
no, we don't. You don't know enough.
You checked it
You know?
out. You checked it out. You got a feel for it, but you're like, I'm not ready yet.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yes. So the temple introduces the image of the two pillars and the theme of duality and opposites. The image occurs again and again through the trump cards in such obvious places as the Hierophant's church pillars or the two towers of the moon, the pillars of the high priestess seen from the other side. Oh, shit.
I love it.
So on the moon card, you're seeing the same pillars of the high priestess, but from the other side.
I'm gonna have to look at that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is super interesting. Let me try and see if I can find that. in
Yeah,
this
if you can
book.
pull that up, that would be. If you could just pull it up so we can look at that, because
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
and that's so crazy how much like you just don't even
Don't
think
know
about this symbolism.
Right. Exactly.
It's so deep. Moon tarot card.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh shit! Get
Yeah.
out of here. All right, let me share
wanna
the
pull it
screen
up?
right quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Let's go over to images, and here we are.
So this is being on the other side of that veil. I'm
yeah,
seeing the pillars from the other side.
yeah, and that's why
Okay.
That's why it says that you're not going to know what lies beyond those pillars until you get to the moon or the star.
Okay.
Makes sense.
sense, yeah.
God, I love it. It's like a trippy journey.
So cool, man.
It's so deep.
hmm
I love it. I'm trying to find where.
But
I
you know,
can
in
put
the
this.
end, I mean, we already knew that there was a lot to these tarot cards. You know, we experience it all the time, just about every episode. You know, somehow there's really something to them, and the deeper meaning when you look at them. But now I can just imagine, just knowing the first three, dude. I'm really blown away actually, of the depth of them.
Ah, man, it's just so awesome, dude. I love
Mhm.
it. So nextly, we go to the temple introduces the image of the two pillars and the theme. Oh, wait, did I already read that? No, I haven't. Okay. Yeah. The temple introduces the image of the two pillars and the theme of duality and opposites. The image occurs again and again through the trumps in such obvious places. Okay, that's what I was getting
Yeah.
at.
Mhm.
But also in more subtle ways, such as the two sphinxes of the chariot or the man and woman of the lovers.
Okay.
Interesting. So finally, judgment with the child raising between a man and a woman and the world, holding two hands, resolves the duality by uniting the inner mysteries with the outer awareness. So the letters B and J stand for Boaz and Yakin, it's
Okay.
Jakin, right?
Okay.
The names given to the two pillars of the temple in Jerusalem. Obviously, the dark Boaz. So it's a black pillar and a white pillar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
so the black pillar is B, yeah, and then Yakin is the white pillar. So obviously, the dark Boaz pillar stands for passivity and mystery, while Yakin symbolizes action and consciousness.
Yep.
So you need to be within both, right?
Yep.
It
Mhm.
says, notice that the letters carry the reverse indications, a white B and a black J. Oh,
Right.
that is interesting. Yeah, because it
Yeah.
shows up. Yeah, it's the black pillar, but the white letter and the white,
Mhm.
the
The
white,
light within the dark and the dark within the light, dude.
a little yin yang symbol.
Yeah, man.
All right. So it says, like the dots in the Tao symbol the letter. Like the dots in the Tao symbol, the letters signify that duality is an illusion, and each extreme carries the other embedded inside it. In her lap, she holds a scroll marked Torah. This refers. Can you see that on that card?
Yeah,
Torah?
you can. You see that?
It's invisible.
Oh shit.
Oh,
well, you
I
might not
see.
be able to see it. But
Okay.
Yeah.
So in her lap, she holds a scroll marked Torah, T-O-R-A. This name refers to the Jewish law, the 5 books of Moses, which is usually spelled Torah, T-O-R-A-H, in English. So this particular spelling allows the word to serve as an anagram for tarot. Oh, interesting. Tarot,
Cool.
T-A-R-O, right?
Mm-hmm.
As the ultimate subject of all Kabbalistic meditations, like Christ's crucifixion for Christian mystics, the Torah carries a great deal of esoteric significance. The Kabbalists believe that the Torah read on Saturday mornings in the synagogue was only a representation, a kind of shadow of the true Torah, the living word of God that existed before the universe and contains within it all true existence. The Torah, held by the high priestess, rolled up and partly concealed in her cloak, therefore signifies a higher knowledge close to us with our lower understanding. We can describe it also as the psychic truths available to us only in the distorted form of myths and dreams. I like it. Earlier, we spoke of the Fool coming in at crucial moments moments of change to push us along. The gap between the High Priestess and the Empress is one such moment. We can too easily be seduced by the dark coolness of the second trump, but even if we never really penetrate its secrets, the person beginning in spiritual discipline often prefers to stay at the visionary level rather than go through the slow, hard work needed to advance. Many people in the more ordinary situations will find life too overwhelming, too vast, and too demanding for them to take part. We can best use the High Priestess's passivity as a balance to the outward-looking attitude of the magician, but many people find the passive side extremely attractive. It represents an answer to struggle, a quiet retreat instead of a harsh glare of self-exposure when we involve ourselves openly with other people. But the human mind does not work like that. It requires passion, and it needs to connect itself to the world. If we cannot penetrate the veil, the temple remains for us an empty place, devoid of any meaning. The person who tries to live a completely passive life becomes depressed, more and more trapped in a cycle of apathy and fear. Virtually all moon goddess religions feature myths of the goddess's ferocious side. Ovid tells the story of Actaeon, I think. Actaeon. Yeah, Actaeon. There we go. A hunter and therefore a figure who properly belonged to the world of action. He happened one day to see a stream and decided to follow it to its source. Again, water as a symbol of the unconscious. Thus, he became separated from his dogs and the other hunters, and when he had reached the source, away from the active world, he saw a group of maidens. Among them, naked, stood the virgin goddess Diana. Let's go.
Okay.
Now, if Actaeon, I could be butchering that. If Actaeon had returned immediately to the outer world, he would have found his life enriched. Instead, he allowed Diana's beauty to fascinate him. He stayed too long, and the goddess, discovering that a man had seen her nakedness, compare the high priestess's layers of clothing with the star maiden's nudity. Oh, okay. Anyway, she turned Actaeon into a stag, into a full-on deer, right? When he ran away, terrified, his own dogs tore him to pieces. Holy shit. So here the fool comes in, and remember the fool's dog leaping at his side, reminding us to dance lightly away from both these visions, the magician as well as the high priestess, until we are truly ready to assimilate them. The divinatory meanings of the high priestess deal first with the scene of mastery in life, both things we do not know and things we cannot know, and indicates a sense of darkness, sometimes an area of fear in our lives, but also one of beauty. A period of passive withdrawal can enrich our lives by allowing things inside to awaken. As an emblem of secret knowledge, the trump card indicates that That feeling of intuitively understanding the answer to some great problem if we could only express that answer consciously. More specifically, the card can refer to visions and to occult and psychic powers such as clairvoyance.
Love it.
Wow.
Yes, dude. Yes.
I actually really love this High Priestess card a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah. And no, it makes a lot of sense, dude. And if you think about it, people, I think myself included, get really interested in the vision aspect of things. You start to see stuff, or you want to see without your eyes. You want to, you know what I mean? You have a vision of something. It's almost like, am I seeing into the future? What's going on? It's exciting. It's that astonishment, but if you're not to the level that you need to be, you might still be having these experiences, but you don't know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with that information. And then what if you start to think that you are becoming mad at that point, or you start to think that you're seeing demons, and then and all of a sudden now you're in a fear state of mind, and we know nothing good happens there.
And then you're just containing all that unchanneled energy and allowing it to disrupt everything inside of you because it has no way of outwardly expressing it.
Yeah.
And
now
very
you're depressed.
Now you're depressed.
Right.
You think about it, that energy of depression has to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude.
So anyhow, in its most positive aspect, the High Priestess signifies the potential in our lives, very strong possibilities we have not realized, though we can sense them as possible. Action must follow or the potential will never be realized. Despite its deep wisdom, the card can sometimes carry a negative meaning. Like most of the trumps, the High Priestess's value depends on the context of the other cards. Negatively, the trump indicates passiveness at the wrong time or for too long, leading to weakness, fear of life, and other people. It shows a person with strong intuition who cannot translate feelings into action, or a person afraid to open up to other people. Whether the good or bad aspect of the card comes up in a particular reading depends on the surrounding cards and, of course, the reader's intuition. We partake of the High Priestess every time we read the cards. Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Interesting. It's funny because every time my wife does a tarot reading, she doesn't do it very often. Like maybe I don't even remember the last time that she was messing with them, but she often gets the High Priestess, like more times than not.
Wow.
Actually.
Well, there's definitely power in it for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Both good and bad power,
And she's literally, I mean, just thinking about what she's been going through, is she's literally in the on that journey of realizing her power, realizing her potential and really rising above and becoming something more,
Which does make sense, just like symbolically with the cards, whenever like literally the High Priestess is sitting between the two pillars of darkness and light. It's like she's right there on the cusp. And there's always a little bit of light in the darkness. There's always a little bit of darkness in the light, but she's right there in the cusp. Just like there could be a decision that's about to be made. It hasn't been made yet.
That's right.
It's awesome. But yeah, that's interesting that your wife always pulls that card. I remember her always pulling that too. She's always
I don't know if she
that.
did it when you were here that one time, because we mentioned that. Like she always gets that, and then she's just sitting there, boom, it just pops out. I'm like,
yeah, that was with the gold deck, I think, right? Or it was
she's got deck. I don't remember if I think she has her deck. I don't know what it's called, but it's a super nice deck, dude. I don't know why I don't use it every once in a while, but they're hers, you know what I'm saying? So I just kind of gotta put some respect on it.
Yeah, you don't want to taint it,
That's right. Yeah.
So where were we? Whether the all right, yeah. So whether the good or bad aspect of the card comes up in a particular reading depends on the surrounding cards and, of course, the reader's intuition. I love that part that they put in parentheses. We partake of the High Priestess every time we read the cards. That is.
So now you could just know that every time you do a tarot reading.
Yeah, you're like, you're about to give your interpretation of it, but you're not sure exactly which way to go. You're in High Priestess energy right now.
Yeah, go into that mode. Embody that real quick.
Yes. It says very often both meanings will apply. Human beings have more than one side, after all. The High Priestess is an archetype, a single-minded picture of one aspect of existence. When we reverse it, we bring in the missing qualities. The card reverse signifies a turn towards passion, toward a deep involvement with life and other people, in all ways, emotionally, sexually, and competitively. However, the pendulum can swing too far, and then the card reverse can symbolize a loss of that most precious knowledge, which is the sense of our inner selves. Wow. That's it. That's all we got.
I love it.
Wow.
I love it, man.
Welcome to class, dude.
And it's funny because usually I would draw a card, just while we're recording. But this whole time I'm sitting here just kind of looking at the card, just trying to let the image of the card and the information hit me at the same time, really trying to get that in. So I didn't draw a card. I didn't pull a tarot card for us. So, which is kind of ironic, that happened on the tarot card reading. But I mean, the tarot card episode. How do you feel about doing a tarot card this episode?
I'm okay doing it or not doing it, to be honest with you.
As far as like doing a reading at all?
I'm giving that High Priestess energy. It's up to you.
Oh, dang.
All right. A little passivity on my part, sir.
Yeah, dude. No, I like it. You're doing it, man.
What are your thoughts?
I actually would like it if you pulled a card this episode.
Interesting.
Yeah,
all right.
Let's do that.
That's fascinating that you said that, because I was thinking about it and I was like, that's his job. But because
that's his job.
Because I was looking at
I
my
gotta
deck.
do something, you do most of the work.
Well, because I was looking at my deck and I saw the crystal on top of it and I was like, damn, that thing's charged up. I already know. Yeah.
It's charged up, man.
It's like
the beaver moon and everything, man. It's just been sitting there absorbing it.
There's just potential waiting.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
All right.
What deck is that, by the way?
This is actually my beginner deck. So it's a deck that actually shows, because I'm trying to regularly just constantly learn it. So it's one that shows the upright meaning and the upside down meaning, the reverse meaning. And then it also shows like what chakra it represents, what planet it represents, like what zodiac it represents. And also you can use them as yes/no cards. So each card has a yes or a no or a maybe on it.
Oh, that's cool. So then the High Priestess would be a maybe.
Probably.
It's like both, right?
Probably. Yeah.
Just intuitively.
Well, and it also shows the element too. So like
cool.
I just so happen to look at the bottom of the deck, and it's the 3 of swords, which is the 3 swords jabbing into the heart.
To the heart. Yep.
And that is actually the element of air, according to this.
Oh,
it makes sense because it's behind a thunderstorm.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense.
Well, I mean, and just swords in general, I think, are kind of
air,
right?
Too. Yeah. You're right. All right. Well, give me a minute. Let me shuffle these bad boys up.
All right, man.
All right. So what we got was actually not the High Priestess, but kind of same energy. We got the Queen of Pentacles. All right. Oh, you're muted there, Sean. But we got the Queen of Pentacles, and it says feminine energy of nurturing and dependability, as well as a strong connection to nature, are held within the Queen of Pentacles. Queens in tarot represent feminine energy that includes receptivity, creativity, nurturing, and love connected to the element of water. This queen is deeply connected to nature and the element of earth, as shown by the beautiful flowers and vines surrounding her throne. She has a healthy relationship with her body and follows her instincts when making decisions. She is grounded, dependable, responsible, and wise. The Queen of Pentacles holds her pentacle lovingly. She gazes at the pentacle as well as beyond it, towards the earth itself. Her feet are firmly planted on the ground, and she knows that her unlimited resources should be shared by everyone.
Beautiful.
Which is what we think of the tarot,
Yeah. That's great, man.
So the spiritual interpretation says the Queen of Pentacles may be asking you to examine your relationship with your mother figure, mother of your inner child, or connect with the children in your life. This card indicates that you should take good care of your body, focusing on wellness and spending time in nature. Caring for your home, cooking, or gardening will help you relax.
I think you need to stay out of my personal affairs.
Yeah.
All right. Dude. Feel like that was at me almost.
Oh, hopefully it's
Crazy.
at everybody,
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, as far as what we're learning, it definitely is.
Totally agree. Yeah, that was a great reading. And I think that just shows that almost by learning and becoming more knowledgeable and more familiar with the deck, it almost is a nurturing to yourself, if you really think about it. And the fact that we're reading it for all of the one to listen, it's almost nourishing and nurturing to the minds of the people that are interested in understanding and interpreting the cards a little bit more.
Yeah, man. No, that's great. I'm glad. When you first, spoke of doing this episode, I was like, of course, I feel like we need to do this, just because we're so into the tarot, and it's part of every single episode. And so it's kind of just like a cornerstone of, what is to be expected of a metamystics episode, but man, the information and just I love it, man. It was great. I love how much it opened us up already. Just the first 3 cards.
Well, it just goes to show how deep symbolism is. You know what I mean? And this is what they used to learn in mystery schools. Maybe it wasn't necessarily about tarot. I mean, we heard that it was, maybe with certain sects of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, but within almost all secret society and mystery schools and, places that you become initiated, it is almost entirely all about learning the symbolism and working with the energy. Like literally, that
it was
is what
just
a mystery school is
understood,
about.
dude. It was just understood. And that's why all of the different stories and myth and everything else kind of came about, because everybody already had that somewhat understanding of this psychic ability or psychic power, or just the power of the mind itself, and just how capable it is. And so in order to try to explain that and put that into words, that's where all of that stuff comes from. And so it's almost like this feedback loop of sorts, if you think about it that way.
Yeah. And what's fascinating to me is that everybody already has like an opinion of what's going on in the outside world, right? Like, and everybody has their own interpretation of what is happening on the outside world, because our inner world is intricately linked to the outer world, right? You can almost even say, as most do, that the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of our inner world, right? Whenever you see the synchronicities or you see the things that happen in the outer world, and you're like, how did that just like, intertwine itself with what's been going on in my inner world? It almost doesn't, like, it's almost too magical. You know what I mean? Whenever you start looking at it through that lens. But the thing to me is that, you can look at the outer world as already mastered. Nobody has mastered your inner world. Right. And that's what's so powerful about, mysticism, tarot, becoming initiated, and all of this like symbolic kind of information, because the way that you interpret a symbol, just as you said earlier, whenever you look at the McDonald's sign, you might think of a McDouble, and I might look at it as French fries or McNuggies. You know what I mean? But it's your inner world. And so it's up to you as the initiate to go as deep into that inner world as you possibly can, and almost spend as much time in the inner world as you do in the outer world, if not more. Like that's the entire, like that's why we do what we do, to better understand our inner world and understand ourselves and what we're capable of and what we're here for and where we came from. And all of that information is not found out here. It is all about, like, in order for you to find it for you, you have to go inside.
And think about it this way, the outer world is going to be doing what it does, right? And so then all you can really do is react to what that is doing. But the inner world, that's the thing you can actually transmute. That's the world you can almost control. You're in charge of what threads are plucked at when something happens, what happens in here, when something out there happens, and so why wouldn't you want to kind of go behind the motherboard and try to fix some circuits and try to rewire the way that you react to the things that are going to happen regardless of how you feel about it. I
mean, you may as well go beyond the pillars and find out for yourself, because nobody, look, your mom can go through those pillars, your dad can go through those pillars, your brother, your sister, your coworker, your manager, whatever, your dog can go through those pillars, and they can tell you what they saw on the other side. It is not going to be jack or shit compared to what you're going to experience.
Right.
It is up to you. It's so personal. You know what I mean? And by the way, what you were saying as far as reacting, this is why you don't react. This is why you observe, because when you observe, it allows you to stay in your own world along with also like being present in the moment of whatever's going on.
Yeah.
But as soon as you react, you are immediately booted out of your own world.
Absolutely.
And you are placed right into the other person's world.
Yeah, I had this happen, I think, just today, dude. And, it's one of those things, we say it all the time. It's easier said than done, because you can understand these things, and there's times where you can take pause and go, you know what, I'm not going to play into this. I understand my higher self, and I'm going to observe this event from that higher self, right? I'm not going to be affected or impacted negatively during this. But then there's other times where it's like a split instinct moment, and you're now in the illusion with that event. You're just kind of like a domino being thrown because of the one before it.
Yes.
And so it's a practice, dude. That's why you got to really work that muscle, man, and just try to constantly be, in that higher awareness if when possible. And I would say
to even put on top of that, like, think about like why people have used fasting for their spiritual benefits, right?
Yep.
Because you're no longer, like, as far as reacting, you want to talk about completely ridding your animal instincts and going inward, where that person inside doesn't need food, that person inside doesn't need water, that person doesn't need all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, you might not want to stay in there for a year, but like, it's good to come out and get a little fresh air and maybe take a bite of something, right? Every so often. But the idea of fasting it's like saying it is completely neglecting the outside world and only going within. And it's crazy to see what your mind does, like what your egoic mind does whenever it is being starved of food. And just the ability to sit there and not feed into that egoic animalistic mind and just sit there in observation. Now you know how to get there. It's almost a practice to see from your higher self.
Absolutely. Like when you are fasting, you'll see, and we've only done it a couple times, but it's like you notice the autopilot things that you would normally do. And so, like, because you already know in your mind, I'm not eating, right? I'm not gonna give in to any food, right? And so then it's almost like, oh, I wanted coffee right now. Oh, I wanted those chips right now. Oh, I wanted that popcorn, just that handful real quick that I would have done and not even thought nothing of it.
Yeah.
So I think that alone is really putting you in that mindset of just the awareness. You are paying attention to those autopilot moments in your life. You're taking control of that. And so then when you finish your fast, maybe you bring a little bit of that with you, right? Like now you're eating, you're allowing yourself to go ahead and kind of eat again, right? But now you're more aware, like, oh, I'm grabbing that popcorn. Do I really want it? Right? And so you have that time to actually put some type of decision making instead of just kind of just being in the moment and letting it happen instinctively without even thinking about it.
And every time you make that conscious decision, rather than just reacting to whatever your body or your brain or whatever wants, it is bringing you back to that moment of just awareness of just your surroundings. You know what I mean? It's like it's like magnetizing you right back. Like every time, whenever you were on keto, you said, "Dude, I wouldn't even lick my finger if I dipped it into something that I couldn't have."
Right.
That is that conscious awareness decision.
Constant. Yeah, it's a constant awareness of that.
Yeah, dude. And that's I believe that is what the goal of all of this is. Like the goal is to rise above that of the animal, of the human, the rise above the character, the avatar of whatever the human is, because that is the thing that's temporary. And if we're trying to get all the answers as to why we're here, what we're doing here, where we're going, and all that kind of stuff, and understand thyself to the absolute most, then this is what we should be practicing, and this is what we should be learning. And so
absolutely,
that's why we always say we don't know what we don't know.
That's it, dude.
Like you can never be too sure.
Yeah,
but
man.
I love this kind of stuff.
Couldn't have
So
said it better, man.
what are your final thoughts as far as the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess, sir?
I just have a newfound respect for the tarot in general, and we've only gotten started. I think when we do the tarot, and it's a fun thing. I really enjoyed doing the one card draw every episode, and it's just kind of been, like I said, it's become like a staple of something to be expected on a Metamystics episode. But I think with the deeper understanding that we're going to gain from this, it just adds that extra element of like regard for respect, of understanding for it, rather than just like, oh, that's interesting that card means this, and it kind of resonated with the episode, which is fine. It's totally cool. It's fun. I enjoy it. But when we do a tarot reading and we can actually start intuitively understanding the card without even looking at the book, that's where we're going. That's what
Yes.
we're going to be able to do.
Dude, it just
So-
reminds me of like the High Priestess almost just reminds me of that moment right before you're about to take the mushrooms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I already knew you were
about
going there.
to, but you
Yeah.
haven't done it yet. You're excited, so you got a little bit of
You
that
see
fool
the
in
veil,
you.
it's right there. You know what I mean? You don't know what's on the other side.
It's-
It could be either way,
Right. It could be either way, but just the fact that you're excited to jump into it would refer to that High Priestess being right side up.
Absolutely. That's fun, dude.
It's
That's some
fun to look
shit.
at all of these things in the form of their symbolism.
Yeah.
It's almost like
Yep.
an entirely new vocabulary you're learning.
That's where the goods are, man. That's where the goods are.
Indeed, sir.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think we're going to boogie on over to the meditation. As we said earlier, if you want to be a part of that meditation, come check us out at patreon.com/metamystics. There's also other ways that you can support the show. Go and leave a review, leave a little comment, leave us some 5 stars, depending on what platform you're listening to us from. Maybe share us. Go check us out on YouTube. We have a TikTok. We have Instagram, all of that fun jazz. TikTok and Instagram, we're showing all of the different clips from different shows and stuff like that. So yeah, we would really appreciate the support. It really helps pump out the algorithm for more people to become initiated into the one consciousness. So go ahead and check out all of that. We appreciate that. But look, if the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess came here and they taught you anything, it's that you don't know what you don't know. So don't just get weird.
Stay weird.
Short and sweet, man. I got there.
I really like that one.
Yeah.
Like it gave me like reading Rainbow, old TV show you used to watch when you were a kid kind of vibe.
Nostalgia, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I went there, man. And it's really cool because if you think about it, when you were a kid, and we mentioned it a lot, but as far as whenever we talk about, you have your own reality, and some people might look at that and go, well, that's stupid. There's only one reality and we all exist in that. And so it's not to say that, oh, well, in my reality, I can walk through walls. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, that's not what we're talking about. But in your reality, for example, you can say every time I walk through a doorway, and I think I got this from Optimistic Banks, if I'm not mistaken, it was one of his videos that I saw. But as far as, walking through a doorway, every time you walk through a doorway, it's like you are, and you can put whatever you want on that. Like, let's say you are a better version of yourself as opposed to before you walked in. So it's just this mindset, the reality that you can live by that nobody else even has to know about. And Jim Carrey, before he became famous, before he really started making money, he wrote himself a check for, what was it, like $10 million or $5 million, whatever it was. It doesn't even matter at this point. But, most people would look at that and go, well, that's stupid. Like, what reality are you living in? Because there's no money to back that check up. Like, what are you even doing? But it's not for everybody else. That's for Jim Carrey. That's for his reality, his world, what he's trying to make happen. And that's just a little tangible tool that he's using to get himself to embody the version of himself he's trying to become in order to become famous, in order to make enough money for that check to even be real, and for someone to be able to cash that, take it to the bank.
To the bank.
So I don't know. I think, the whole aspect of just trying to transmute whatever you got going in your universe, That's for you, man. That's for you to experience, and who cares what anybody else thinks? It's really just up to you to, use these little tools and these little tricks and things that you can do for yourself just to navigate, the things that are going on around you that are going to be going on no matter what, because not everybody is doing the inner work, you know?
Most people aren't.
No. And so you thinking you have to feel bad or try to change everybody or try to fix everybody and try to help everybody. I mean, most people don't even think they need help, and so who are we to say that they do,
Well, and
That's not for us to decide.
the whole goal of initiation is not to worry about anybody else or anybody's view of the world or anything like that. It's about putting you into a deeper form of the deeper well of understanding that you have within you, And so the old adage of like, whenever you change yourself, you change the world. That's the idea, is that then you become that battery. You are that generator essentially that through the energy that you're now giving off through your understanding of the world, it's like now you're
It's
that
contagious.
light. It's a contagious thing, and they're like, oh man, I really wonder, And I always say like the nicest person I ever met was a Mormon. So it made me like even almost want to look into Mormonism, right?
Right.
And then, lo and behold, I find out about what Mormonism is, and I'm not interested, but like it
I'm
made
not
me
interested.
but it made me interested, because I was like, man, look at the fruits of this. And that was the thing.
Of course.
But even still, it's like, you were talking about going through that door. It's funny because the idea of going into that meditation was to be able to walk through a door. And she mentioned that.
I didn't even think about that.
I was like, what?
I didn't think about that at all.
But whenever you were talking about the every time you go through a door, just imagine, that you're kind of becoming another version, right, of yourself. And it made me think about like, even the high priestess is not going through the door. She's kind of sitting in between the pillars. And if you think about the pillars, the idea of the pillars is represented in every place that you go to. If you really think about it, like whenever you go into a Walmart, you go through the sliding doors. If you picture the edges of those doors as pillars, that's why it's called you're walking in trance.
Yeah.
You're walking in, you're becoming another person whenever you walk into a Walmart. It's just I don't know what that term would be, but like in trance, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what you're already doing. They're already gearing you up. You got the fluorescent bulbs and you got, all of the things, all the bullshit that they want you to buy up front and all the stuff that you need is all the way in the back. And it's like, it is a full on hypnosis, what they're trying to do to you. And maybe even a light trance, but it doesn't matter. Like once you're there, how many times have you gone to Walmart for a gallon of milk and you walk out $200 later, right? And that's just the ability of the hypnosis whenever you walk in trance in there. And so if you think about it, what if you did, you made your own purposeful pillars that you walk through. Yeah. And that would just change everything.
You go into Walmart, you walk through those pillars, you're like, all right, I'm focused. I know exactly what I'm getting, and this higher version of myself is only going to get that. I am not going to be tempted by the honey buns. You know what I mean?
Get out of here, honey buns.
Right. And if you think about it, man, they got it figured out, man, as far as, these bigger business, I mean, any business really. And it's something that's so fascinating to me is that it's all a mind game, if all is mental. And this is where I like to look at it as far as the all is mental. If you understand the human mind, then you can perfectly design a store to kind of allow that person to just be reactionary. It's like as soon as you walk in, like you said, you see things instantly that you don't need and you didn't go there for, but it's like the first temptation you see. It's like some snacks and some, the little cupcakes and the little things that you shouldn't eat, but it's the first thing you see as soon as you are entranced. You know what I mean?
It's the food for the uninitiated, you could even say.
Yeah, and the candy bars that are at the register. It's like that's just convenience. They know that. It's just I don't know. It's all a mind game, man.
Damn you, cosmic brownies.
Cosmic brownies.
Those things are damn delicious.
Oh man. Yeah, dude.
But yeah, it is interesting. And man, what a fascinating. This is one of my favorite shows we've ever done, I think.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man.
This is
It
a
was
top
definitely
tenner.
mind opening.
It's a top tenner
Oh,
for sure.
easy top 10.
Might even throw into that, throw it in the fiver.
I think so. I think that would be fair.
Damn.
I wouldn't
All
be mad
right.
at that.
And that's only the first 3 levels of the Fool. Well,
Yeah,
it's the
man.
Fool itself, and then the first 2 levels of the Fool.
Which I find that interesting too, as far as how is it that, there are some episodes, that we'll do a topic and I don't know anything about it, right? And so we're literally learning every aspect of that topic in real time. But when it came to the tarot, it just felt so easy to resonate with it.
It's intuitive.
And because of all the symbols and we've been doing tarot, and all of this, but it's already the archetypes, it's already the symbols, it's already the things that are already in your mind, so of course it's going to resonate. It's all of the things that you can't put words to
Yeah.
in a tarot deck.
It's these, every single card and every single symbol in every single card is just a representation of what you're already experiencing inward.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
No,
like
this
putting
was
it's like putting
fun.
words to stuff that you didn't think had words.
And probably don't.
And even
being
still,
honest.
it barely scratches the surface.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
dude.
Man, I love
Good
this
shit.
stuff. All right, well,
Shit.
let's see. I want to see what's next.
What are the next 3?
Because I'm terrible at remembering the orders of the cards and stuff like that. But
Not that we're going to be doing the tarot cards in the next episode. Who knows? Maybe we are. I don't know. But it'll be cool to know.
oh yeah. So the next tarot show that we do anyway will be the Emperor, which is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
The Hierophant, awesome.
Okay.
And if I can get to it. Oh, and the Lovers.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. Every time I see the Hierophant, I just think of
Byron
Jester.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. All right, the one. Well, we love you, and hopefully you got a little something from this. I know we definitely did.
Oh, yeah.
And if you did, please, share the show, leave a little comment, leave a like, do all the things that you can. These things are free. To share it, to like it, to comment it. It literally takes, I think, maybe 2 seconds of your time, but it is worth its weight in gold to us. So thank you for everybody that's doing that. But yeah, I guess we're going to boogie up out of here. So we'll see you all on the flip side.
Bye, guys.